It's okay. Yeah. I hope they were still there. Yeah, for sure. Get some.
Morning, everyone. It's 9:30 on March 21st, 2025. And we now open the post-commission meeting. First up is the adoption of the agenda. I hope commissioners have an opportunity to look it over. If so, I'm open to a motion to approve or disapprove.
Part of the motion to approve the agenda.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. And the agenda is adopted. Administrative matters, Mr. Secretary, roll call, please.
We do have two items to add to the agenda, real quick. We need to add a matter of Evan Coker, formerly of the Paris Police Department, who resigned during an internal investigation. He was surrendering his post certification. We're going to move that to the top of new business. And we also have the matter of Claiborne County, which is on page 15. We're going to remove that item from the agenda. So we'll just need a vote to approve the adding of Mr. Coker and the removal of Claiborne County.
Motion to approve, second.
All right, all in favor of the motion to approve, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion approves.
We'll take the roll call. Commissioner Beverly,
Present.
Commissioner Doggett,
Present.
Commissioner Green,
Here.
Commissioner Jackson,
Here.
Commissioner Jeffers, Commissioner Lane,
Here.
Commissioner Parton,
Here.
Commissioner Russell,
Here.
Commissioner Spangler,
Here.
Commissioner Wilbur,
Here.
Commissioner Wright,
Here.
Vice Chair Carter, and Chairman Faulkner.
Here,
All right, Madam Chair, you have it.
our disclaimer.
All post commissioners have previously agreed to recuse themselves from any vote that would constitute a conflict of interest. The most obvious of these would include issues that involve our own departments or someone we know personally. Because we have already agreed to this, it should be noted that on routine matters, it will be assumed non-verbally that these commissioners have abstained from the vote. And bigger, more controversial issues that may have a more overt conflict of interest, it may have an appearance of impropriety. These applicable commissioners will still verbally abstain from those votes.
Okay, thank you. And now approval of the minutes from the February 21st, 2025 commission meeting and an opportunity to go over.
Part of the motion to approve. Spangler, second.
All in favor of the motion to approve, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. All right, the minutes are approved. And I believe we need to hear from legal on the next item and approve minutes for the March 13th, 2025 rules subcommittee hearing.
Ashley Ball and legal, the rule subcommittee met last week and legal is working on the red line reports based on changes that were provided with amendments to the commission at a later date.
Okay, did everyone hear? Any motion on that? Okay, we do?
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a motion. So more to come on this, is that right?
Yes.
You gonna make a motion on minutes that we haven't seen, that we can make?
They're on your iPad,
Word.
under minutes, in the number 3 folder.
February 21st.
13th.
March 13th. Yes, sir.
It's all red line. Well, it says motion, red line rules package discussion. And we don't have that.
Nothing to make a motion on it.
The subcommittee had gone over the proposed rules package and made amendments and changes. And so it just be to move that matter forward in that process.
Just approve the minutes from that subcommittee.
Correct, sir.
Commissioner Wright, motion to approve.
And a second,
Second.
all in favor of the motion, say aye. Any opposed, no. Right. So report of decertification subcommittee hearing March the 20th, 2025.
Yes, Madam Chairman. Yesterday we had several individuals appear on the informal hearing subcommittee, and in the matter of Jacob Hensley from the Blount County Sheriff's Office, the recommendation was default decertification. In the matter of Anthony Musto, also of Blount County, the recommendation is an agreed order of suspension. In the matter of Michael Lee of Bradley County, the recommendation is default order decertification. In the matter of Christopher Curry of Dyersburg State Community College PD, recommendation was decertification. In the matter of Jonathan Allen of Hamilton County, recommendation was default decertification. In the matter of Lowell Boyd of Henry County, the recommendation was to move forward to a full hearing. In the matter of Brian Gilly of the Lebanon Police Department, that was continued to next month. In the matter of Dietrich Collier of Memphis PD, recommendation was default decertification. In the matter of Michael Payne of Memphis PD, recommendation was default decertification. In the matter of Ruben Basilda of the Department of Safety, recommendation was decertification. In the matter of Marvel Boyce of the Tennessee Department of Safety, recommendation was no action. In the matter of Cody Buck, also Tennessee Department of Safety, recommendation was no action. In the matter of Raheem Muhammad, the Tennessee Department of Safety, recommendation was decertification. In the matter of Cedric Miles, Tennessee Department of Safety, that matter was recommended to be administratively closed. In the matter of Anthony Rizzo of University of Tennessee Knoxville PD, the matter was recommended to be default decertification. And in the matter of Harvey Briggs, the Tennessee Department of Safety, that was recommended to be administratively closed as well.
Do we have a motion to accept the rulings of the decertification subcommittee hearing?
Beverly motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
Lane second.
All in favor of the motion to approve, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Okay, pre-employment requirements.
The Chattanooga Police Department requested criminal record waiver for William Seth Hutchinson. In January of 2001, Mr. Hutchinson was charged with possession of marijuana in Saudi Daisy, Tennessee. In February of 2001, Mr. Hutchinson was found guilty of the charge and has since satisfied all court-ordered sentencing fines and fees.
Are you from the Chattanooga Police Department?
I'm actually staff chief with Chattanooga Fire Department. Lieutenant Shaw is.
Everyone who's going to speak, please identify yourself for the record.
Joseph Shaw. William Seth Hutchison.
Staff Chief Anthony Moore.
All right, thank you. So tell us about this possession of marijuana.
It was in 2001. I was a young adult, made some poor decisions as a young adult, and have since satisfied those requirements of me. I've worked stable jobs up until this point. I've since married. I've become a stable adult and working for a great department.
Questions from the commissioners?
Commissioner Russell, how much marijuana was it?
It was simple possession. I'm not exactly sure. I think it was maybe a gram. Look at a police report. I'm not even sure the police report stated. I just remember it saying simple possession.
And how did they find it? What were you doing with the marijuana?
I'm sorry, I couldn't.
How did they find the marijuana and what were you doing with the marijuana?
I was going to a friend's house. I was following my friend to his house at the time. He had pulled over just short of his driveway, and I pulled over with him. He motioned for me to come around and park in front of him. I was going to spend the night at his house. And a police officer, Saudi Daisy police officer, seeing this action, found it suspicious, pulled over and questioned it.
Could you tell us what you learned over the whole situation and how it's going to prepare you to be an officer?
I learned it was very irresponsible. I was making poor decisions as a young adult, and I have since learned how to grow up. I've just found more stability in my life, especially with my wife and my son. And I've worked hard for over 23 years to become a lot better person and stay out of trouble.
And things happen for a reason in their lives to prepare us to be a better person at a later date. How do you think that will help you be a better officer?
Maybe a lot wiser.
Thank you.
Any further questions from the commissioners? Motion,
Commissioner Russell, motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Commissioner Beverly, second.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Yeah.
Any opposed, no? Waiver passed.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you very much.
The Columbia Police Department requests a criminal record waiver for Ernest Percy Anderson II, hired February 4th, 2025. In October of 2020, Mr. Anderson was charged with simple possession in Williamson County, Tennessee. Mr. Anderson was found guilty of the charge and has since satisfied all court-ordered sentencing fines and fees.
And who's appearing from the Columbia Police Department?
My name is Josh Davis. I serve as a captain with Columbia Police Department. This is Ernest, Mr. Anderson.
Tell us what we need to know about this.
If I may, ma'am, I'll make an introduction. Mr. Anderson is part of our local community. He serves as a corrections officer, has served as a corrections officer with Murray County Sheriff's Department under Sheriff Bucky Rowland. We hired him, very familiar with this young man and his years of service in our community through that role he's played. I think he'll testify here in a few minutes before you that this arrest in 2020 would be the rock bottom of his former life. That followed by a mentoring type conversation with an off-duty Brentwood police officer led him to leave that conversation with a determination to turn his back to that lifestyle. He's done that. He's never touched the product again. He severed all relationships with that. He's worked hard and his life has resulted in it. He's now, like I said, very successful with the Sheriff's Department. He's now engaged to a very nice young lady that would never tolerate such a behavior. And he has a lot riding on this. I'll turn it over and let him talk to you specifically about the incident. Any questions?
Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Anderson.
Well, in 2020, I was leaving for a friend's house. Pulled out, at the time I was actually living in a hotel because I was between houses. And I pulled out going to a friend's house and rolled a stop sign. I was pulled over by a Brentwood police officer. After pulling me over, he smelled marijuana, asked me where it was. I fully complied with his orders. Handed over everything I had to him. He pulled me out of the car, did a search of the car with him and his partner. And after that, he summons me to appear at their office for a criminal citation, as well as the courthouse in Franklin. Once I went there, did my citation, I was put on 1129 probation, which I completed with no missed visits or any drug test violations, paid all fines, and finished the program.
Okay, questions from the commissioners?
Commissioner Russell, same question as the last one. How would this make you a better officer from what you learned to this whole experience?
With my experience, especially working in the Sheriff's Department, I've been able to educate, I will be able to educate and have educated people on experiences with, drug problems, specifically marijuana, because, that's where I fall to that. And it just has since made me a better officer.
Did you have to get a waiver from PCI?
Yes, I did.
And when was that?
When was it?
Yes, sir.
It was this same time last year.
Thank you.
Commissioner Wright, can you tell us a little bit about the incident in February of 2014 surrounding that?
Yeah, so at that time I was living in Indiana, and I was coming from a friend's house with a group of friends, and we were pulled over at a gas station by an officer. I'm not sure of exactly why they pulled us over at the time because I wasn't driving. And similar thing, officer came up to the door, asked, said that he smelled marijuana, asked where it was. We all were moved from the car. Upon searching the vehicle, they did find some marijuana in the back, which I fully complied and said that it was mine. And was taken to the police station where they questioned me, asked where I get it, where I acquired the marijuana. And I fully told them where I got it from and what we were doing. And then they gave me a criminal citation as well, except they mailed that one to me. And then after that, sometime later in the years, the case was dismissed.
Commissioner Wilburn, when was the last time you smoked marijuana?
2020, when I was pulled over in Brentwood.
Commissioner Doggett, what was your profession at the time of this charge at Brentwood?
I was a UPS store worker.
And what made you decide to pursue a career in law enforcement?
So I've always had an interest in law enforcement. Of course, with my life choices as I got older, I was never able to fully extend that career. And then once I got pulled over in Brentwood, I was pretty upset about the situation. More angry at myself than anything. And I talked to a Brentwood police officer. We had about an hour-long conversation about my life choices and where I was going and what I wanted to do. And I expressed to him that, law enforcement was something that I always wanted to do. And of course, he was, you can't, smoke marijuana and be a police officer. And ever since then, I've cleaned my life up. I've worked in jail in Murray County, and since had a successful career there, and I'm hoping to continue that career at Columbia.
Do you think the experiences that you've had in your life are going to perhaps be a great asset to the community of Columbia if you were able to become a law enforcement officer?
Oh yeah, of course. Like I said earlier, I've working in a jail, I've talked to a lot of inmates that have had drug problems and have since talked to them and I've been in your situation. I understand what you're going through, but this isn't the end of the line for you. You have time. You always have time to clean it up and make better life choices, especially with, if you want to pursue something bigger than yourself, you gotta, make sacrifices and stop doing things.
Thank you.
Other questions?
Commissioner Russell, so how many times were you charged with simple possession?
I was charged with possession twice, once in 2013, I believe it was, in Indiana, and then the second one in 20, which was in here, Tennessee.
And there was a thing in here about selling Adderall in school or something. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so in high school, I was in the bathroom one time, I can't remember the exact conversation. It was a very long time ago. And a friend of mine asked me if I wanted to make a little extra money on the side. And of course I told him yes. And then the next day he come back, he had some Adderall that he asked me to sell for him. And unfortunately I, did that, for a short period of time. And since then, I've never touched that at all again.
I don't have a problem with allowing people a time to show themselves that they're working on them to make a better person out of themselves in the community. But this short of time, I'll have to be a no on this just because they usually set a 7-year window from the time people are arrested. I just want to let you know why I'll be voting no. So thank you.
If I could speak to time. Okay.
Sure, go ahead.
If I could speak to the time, Mr. Anderson has attempted an expungement through Williamson County judicial system. They actually awarded him an expungement on the paraphernalia underlying charge from this 2020 incident. And all but have agreed that his expungement on this charge will be granted in December once he hits the 5-year mark. That was a very big part for us to even come before you. I'm sure you all notice that we don't come up here very often asking for waivers. But with the timing of this and just our administrative timing of when we had openings and seeing the opportunity we had with our desire to have Mr. Anderson, we went ahead and took this opportunity. But everything is in place, not to disrespect your waiver, but everything is in place, and that gave us some comfort that this will be expunged in December. So that, just to speak to timing, that's kind of why we are pushing a little bit this time to go ahead and go for the waiver, if that matters to you. We're thinking the same way as well.
Mr. Russell and Mr. Anderson, I wish you the luck in whatever happens, and I don't mean to influence anybody's vote, and whatever happens, I wish you the best of luck. It's just a pattern of selling the prescriptions and then the two repetitive simple possessions on my end. So whatever happens, good luck in what you do, and I appreciate each of y'all for what y'all do.
Appreciate you too. Thank you. This is Commissioner Green. How long have you worked for the sheriff's office?
I was there for a little over a year.
Are you employed there now?
No, I'm with Columbia Police Department currently,
In what capacity?
just a cadet.
Your mic's
Oh,
on.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. All right, other questions? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's all right, Commissioner Rice. Mr. Anderson, I'm kind of like Mr. Russell. My time period is usually a little bit longer than that. I sit around 7, he's around 7, I'm kind of around more like a 10-year period. As you had these two incidents about 6 or 7 years apart, and that's kind of what we go off of. However, you did present yourself very well today. You seem very humble and very eager to potentially go work for Columbia. So I'm going to step outside of my norm a little bit, and I'm going to make a motion to approve it.
Do we have a second?
Lane, second.
All right, all in favor of the motion for the waiver, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No,
All right, it passed. We wish you luck.
I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody.
Waiver to attend another academy.
The Walter State Law Enforcement Training Academy requests a waiver to change academies for Elston Michael Bridges. In March of 2022, Mr. Bridges attended Tennessee Law Enforcement Training Academy, but did not complete due to medical reasons. Walter State is requesting the waiver so Mr. Bridges may attend their academy in April of 2025.
Is someone here from Walter State? Or are you online?
I'm online, ma'am.
Okay, please.
I'm online as well.
I'm sorry, please identify yourself. I didn't hear you.
I'm Elston Bridges.
I'm Director Travis Stansel of the Academy.
Okay. Can we see them? Just a second. I'll go ahead and ask you, Walter State, is there anything else we need to know about this? It just says due to medical reasons and this individual, Mr. Bridges, wants to change academies. Anything else?
No, I would default to Mr. Bridges if he's got anything else to statements to make to you about the incident.
Are you on, Mr. Bridges?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, tell us.
The reason or what happened in 2002.
Well, just why you're changing academies.
Well, I was sent up there for a department to Toledo, and you know, with I had the medical issue that is now has been resolved. It's hard to get into an academy now and departments, and so I just decided to send myself, and so I applied for Walter State.
Further questions?
also motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. You're approved.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Administrative waivers.
Waivers of in-service. Request of a waiver has been received from the following officers that they, as well as their departments, will remain compliant with proposed guidelines. They are not eligible for the 2024 salary supplement. The Alexandria Police Department requests a waiver of in-service for Kenneth Dwayne Smith, hired September 9th of 2024. Mr. Smith did not complete the required training for the 2024 calendar year due to the time of hire and completion of Transition Academy. The waiver will allow both the agency and the officer to remain compliant with proposed guidelines.
Are you here from the Alexandria Police Department?
Yes,
Sorry.
ma'am.
All right, please identify yourself.
My name is John Jenkins. I'm acting chief for this moment.
Anything else? I see it was due to the time of hiring.
Yes, ma'am. This time I hired for, it was Chief Smith then. He went through, transition school, wasn't eligible due to that reason.
Any questions on this?
Commissioner Russell, motion to approve.
So I have a second.
Second.
All right, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries. Thank you. Appreciate it.
But he's got another one
You
here.
got another one? All
Yes,
right.
ma'am. The Alexandria Police Department requests a waiver of in-service from Max Allen Goodpaster, hired September 24th, 2024. Mr. Goodpaster did not complete the required training for the twenty twenty-four calendar year due to the time of hire. The waiver will allow the agency and the officer to remain in compliance with post guidelines.
Any commissioners have a question? You have a motion?
Commissioner Wright, motion to approve. Spangler, second.
All right, all in favor of the motion to approve, say aye. Any opposed, no. All right, the motion carries. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Mayor.
Madam Chairman,
Yes,
I'd like to make a note, in the rules committee, when did you get this? bid?
yeah, we talked about that.
Okay.
The Brentwood Police Department requests a waiver of in-service for Lauren Nicole Marshall, hired November 11th of 2024. Ms. Marshall did not complete the required training for the 2024 calendar year due to the time of hire. Waiver keeps the agency and the officer in compliance.
Is Brentwood online or present?
Captain Zach Harmon, I'm online.
All right. Any comments or is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Commissioner Wright, second.
All right, motion to approve in a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Brentwood, good to go.
The Brentwood Police Department also requests a waiver of in-service for Andrew Philip Peterson, hired November 11th, 2024. He did not complete the required training for the 2024 calendar year due to time of hire. Waiver keeps the agency and the officer in compliance.
Motion to approve.
Commissioner Wright, second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, now you can go, Brentwood.
Thank you, Commission.
This is, on these others for Brownsville, is that the same?
No, when's the
Yeah, he looks like he's missing some training. The Brownsville Police Department requests a waiver of in-service for Robert Lee Haley Jr., hired July 7th, 2008. Mr. Haley did not complete the required training for the 2024 calendar year due to not meeting firearms qualification. The waiver allows the agency and the officer to remain in compliance.
Brownsville PD, are you online?
Yes, ma'am. Lieutenant Patrick Black.
All right, you want to tell us about Robert Lee Haley Jr. on his firearms qualification?
Corporal Haley has struggled to qualify and was unable after multiple attempts this year to meet the qualification score by the end of the calendar year.
You say this year he still hasn't qualified on the gun range?
He is in an administrative position currently, waiting on the decision of the commission on his waiver.
This is Commissioner Green. Did he qualify last year?
For 2024, no, sir.
What about 2023?
He did. He struggled in 23, but he did qualify in 23, yes.
Thank you.
Or make a motion to keep the agency in compliance, but not the officer.
Russell, second.
Okay, did you hear the motion, everyone? Okay, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No? Okay, so we kept the Brownsville Police Department in compliance, but not Mr. Haley. And you have a second, Nigel Lamont Peoples, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us about that.
Mr. Peoples just, for whatever reason, did not complete his 40 hours of in-service.
This says he lacks 3 hours, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Were those 3 mandatory hours? What were they? What's he
Oh, ma'am,
deficit?
he completed all of his mandatory classes. He just did not reach the 40 hours.
Is there a reason why he didn't?
When asked, he just said he ran out of time. That was really the only excuse that he provided the administration of the agency.
Okay.
Martin, based off the testimony of what we're hearing, I'll make a motion to approve the agency and not the officer.
Russell, second.
All right, so we have a motion to approve for the Brownsville Police Department, but not Mr. Peoples. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no? All right. Did you hear the results to that, Brownsville?
Yes, ma'am, but I'm not familiar with what that means. If you could explain that to me, please.
It means that your department is good to go, but your 2 officers are not. They're out of
Okay.
compliance.
Does that mean that their commission is suspended or?
Right, so this is actually something that we did last month as well. We've done in the past, and it tends to put the agency in compliance with the officer in limbo. And so we actually have a matter under old business on the agenda for a vote that we did last month that was the same for another department. We really need the commission to decide to do something with the officer. The post rules do allow for the commission to take some kind of disciplinary action. So if you don't complete the 40 hours of in-service training, you can be subject to disciplinary action. So it may be better for the commission to vote to move this to an informal hearing for the subcommittee to then decide what kind of action they want to take against this officer, whether it be some kind of probation, additional in-service, suspension. But by approving the agency, not the officer, it kind of leaves them in no man's land, which is what the agency is asking, like, how does he move forward from here if he's not in compliance?
I'll amend those motions for both of them on Brownsville to equal the same thing. I'll give 30 days for the city of Brownsville and the administration of that department to decide what they want to do with their 2 officers that cannot meet and complete the mandated requirements set forth by the state. If they can't make that decision, then 30 days from now, we'll make that decision for them.
Russell, second.
All right, so unclear, will they need to come back before the commission at the April meeting?
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody understand? All right, all in favor of the amended motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no? All right, now are you with us?
Yes,
Brownsville?
ma'am, I understand. I understand. Thank you very much.
Forward on the on the April agenda.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
The Cobb County Sheriff's Office requests a waiver of in-service for Jalen Maurice Ensley, hired July 5th of 2021. Mr. Ensley did not complete the required training for the 2024 calendar year and is deficient 2 hours of EVOC training. The waiver will allow the agency and the officer to remain in compliance.
Okay, someone from the Cobb County Sheriff's Office online?
Yes, Captain Oaks, Cobb County Sheriff's Office.
Okay, Captain, thank you. Can you advise us why, is it Officer Ensley did not get their EVOC training?
Yes, that's correct. Between the effect we had with the flood and he had FMLA medical leave during that time as well, I didn't catch it until after the turn of the year that he missed his 2-hour EVOC.
Okay, has he done it since then?
No, he hasn't. He's scheduled to do it for this year, for fiscal year 25.
Okay, early in the year or?
In July.
I'm sorry?
In July, he will complete.
July. Okay,
Commissioner Wright, motion to approve.
okay. We have a second.
Mr. Lane, second.
We have a motion to approve in a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Any opposed? All right, the motion carried there. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Bishop.
All right.
The Covington Police Department requests a waiver of in-service for Theodore Gary Gill, hired December 27th of 2023. Mr. Gill did not complete the required training for the 2024 calendar year due to a misunderstanding of post rules. Mr. Gill separated from the agency in January of 2025. The waiver will keep the agency and the officer in compliance with post guidelines. And if the commission would like to, with these waivers where the officer is already separated from the agency, if we want to move those to the consent agenda for efficiency in the future, we can do that.
I'll agree with that motion and I'll put another motion on top. We keep the agency in compliance and officers separated and we're not worried about it.
Do you have a second?
I think it's second.
All right, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, is Covington online?
Yes, ma'am. Sergeant Templeton with Covington.
All right. Did you hear what we just did?
Yes, ma'am. You lost me a little bit. We are still in compliance. And what about the officer again, please?
He's no longer with your department. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. That's correct. He went back to coaching hockey for 6 figures.
It's not your problem no more.
Yes.
Right. We need to talk about your second.
Covington Police Department also requests waiver for in-service for Kenneth Wayne Pryor, hired September 13th, 2024. Mr. Pryor did not complete the required training for the 2024 calendar year and is deficient 22 hours. The waiver keeps the agency and the officer in compliance.
Okay, what can you tell us about this one?
Yes, ma'am. The end of the year, about the 26th or 7th of December, I discovered both Officer Gill and Officer Pryor deficient as I was getting the year-end paperwork together and approached them both. We've already discussed Officer Gill. He had additional outside classes, so he was able to do his mandates, and then I was going to include his outside classes to get his 40. Excuse me. But as we've said, he quit for other opportunities. Officer Prayer did not have any other outside classes. He came to us from another agency, left us, went to another agency, and then came back. And there was some confusion about any in-service that he had done at his prior agency versus the in-service that we had set up here. So we tried to set him up to complete the in-service using V Academy those last couple of days of December. And we just didn't get them completed in time. I believe he completed his mandatories, but not the rest of the 22 hours. Chief Turner took him into her office. There was a disciplinary process in which he was suspended for some days and made to complete the in-service. So he is now complete for our records. Did a suspension at our agency for that and is now compliant with us here. And he's on par to go through our in-service this year and be squared away.
And I see you nodding your head, yes, Mr. Bello, is that correct?
Yeah, and there's not too many agencies that go that far to take their officers to task and hold them accountable with disciplinary action. So I commend the Covington Police Department and Chief Turner for addressing that issue and taking that seriously.
Commissioner Meredith, I agree. That's exemplary, and I think goes right along with Commissioner Parkin's motion earlier on how we want to see those officers be held accountable and then get back into compliance. So thank you for doing that.
Good to go, sir.
Commissioner Wright, motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the motion carries. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. That covers our department and the officer. Is that correct?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you.
The Crawford Police Department requests a waiver of in-service for Tyrell Scott Lorenz. Hired September 4th, 2018. Mr. Lorenz is not taking required training for the 2044 calendar year and is deficient 8 hours of firearm training. The waiver will keep the agency officer in compliance.
The Crossville Police Department, are you online?
Yes, ma'am. I'm Chief Brooks for the Crossville Police Department.
How are you, Chief?
Good morning.
All right, so tell us about this not having his firearms training completed.
Officer Lorenz was the detective. He's a detective with Crossville Police Department. He was interviewing a sex offender. He was fixing to place the sex offender under arrest, and the sex offender did not want to be arrested, so they got in somewhat of a fight, so Officer Lorenz didn't use any unnecessary force, but he was indicted by the Cumberland County Grand Jury for this. He's been on administrative leave since then, and his case has been reset several times, and we're just waiting for an outcome of what he had done. All the academics, he just hadn't had the opportunity to do the firearms training.
Did you decommission him?
No, he's not been decommissioned, and well, we're waiting on the trial date to see what happens on the trial date. I would think it wasn't a terrible fight. He didn't throw any blows or anything like that. He just sort of wrestled with the guy, but since then, the sex offender has also been convicted of raping his sister. So that's the kind of guy he was dealing with. So anyway, the DA done an investigation with TBI, and they elected to indict him, and so we're just waiting on a trial date.
Oh, so you don't have a court date yet?
No, he hasn't. His next court date, he's had several court dates, but his next court date's April the 1st.
Questions from the commission? Is he still allowed to go armed?
No, he's on leave. He's on administrative leave right now.
He's on leave. He's not working in administrative.
No, he's not. He is not working.
Madam Chair, I'm going to make a motion that we take no action on this until this case is resolved. That's what we do.
Just defer it.
Defer it until the Cumberland County matter is resolved, and we'll clean this up after the fact.
Did you hear that, Chief?
Yes, ma'am, I did, and which also presents a problem. In May, this all took place in August, of 24. In May, he won't be able to do his in-service for the 8-month period. And so we'll probably come up again in May. I would, according to him, his lawyer is going to either recommend a speedy trial or dismissal of this. It's a low-level misdemeanor that he's been indicted for. But I don't know. It's his decision how to deal with it in court and his lawyer. So till then, I'm minus the detective right now, and it's sort of hard on me, but I'm standing by him because he is a good detective.
You had a motion, didn't you, Sheriff?
Yes, Chair. Chief, we deal with this quite often. Well, I don't want to say quite often, but we have dealt with this in the past. We're just going to take no action on this until the matters are cleared up in the criminal court of Cumberland County. And then we can come back and we can fix his in-service and we can hash all that out, okay?
That'd be great.
Yeah, and I mean, he's in a situation that's got you backed up against the law. There's not a whole lot you can do with city policies and him being off work and administrative leave. So we'll just come back to it later, okay?
I do appreciate it. And I appreciate the opportunity for him. Like I said, he is a good detective, very good officer. And it was a shock.
It's a motion to defer until the matter is resolved.
Okay, do I have a second?
Commissioner Wright, second.
All right, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Mr. Chair,
I'm sorry.
just, this won't hold up everybody else at Crossville getting their pension or in-service supplement, will it? No. Just wanted to clarify. Thank you.
Everybody's clear on the motion and the second. Is that correct? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. All right, Chief, we'll circle back as soon as you hear something on his legal situation.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief.
Goodbye.
Fentress County.
The Frederick County Sheriff's Office requested waiver of in-service for Michael Andrew Reagan. Mr. Reagan did not complete the required training for the 2024 calendar year and is deficient 5 hours. The waiver will keep the agency and the officers in compliance.
All right, do we have Fentress County online?
Sheriff Reagan, yes.
All right. Why didn't he get his 5 hours?
Well, I've done all the mandatory, and we done a class on, at the DA's office, not actually DA's office here in our courtroom for about a refresher, about warrant signing and all that. I'm gonna hold it up, see if you can see it. We done it like in September, October, which would have been 4 hours, and then when it come down to it, I was 1 hour short
Okay, so not 5 hours, but 1 hour?
with well, we didn't get the certificates till after January, so we can't count it for last year.
What does the commission have? Can you advise what's in his record?
There's actually a report of findings that our investigators are going to provide later on in the agenda regarding Fentress County. So if you want to roll, and it's an in-service issue, so if you want to move this with the report of findings, I think they kind of tie together.
Okay.
Commissioner Wright, make a motion, we move this to the other business. Got to.
Have a second.
Commissioner Green, second.
All right, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Can you stand by, Fentress County? We'll circle back to you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Franklin County Sheriff's Office.
Franklin County Sheriff's Office requested a waiver of in-service for Gregory Wayne McGee. Hired July 1st, 2024. Mr. McGee did not complete the required training for 2024 calendar year due to the time of hire and completion of Transition Academy.
Anyone online or, oh, you're not, okay. Anybody online from Franklin County Sheriff's Office?
Yes, ma'am. Sergeant Sam Davidson.
Okay, so this is a time of hire publication.
Motion to approve, Chair.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor of the motion to approve, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Did you hear us, Franklin County?
I did, yes, ma'am. Thank
Okay.
y'all.
All right, thank you.
The Franklin Police Department requested a waiver of in-service for Taylor Madison Britton, hired December 16th of 2024. Mr. Britton did not complete his training for the 2024 calendar year due to the time of hire.
Motion to approve.
Green, second.
All in favor of the motion, say aye. Any opposed? And that's Sergeant Mike Stevens, and I did not vote since that's my department. Thank you, Sergeant.
We've got one more from Franklin PD. They also request a waiver of in-service for Frank Angelos Scalise, hired December 16th, 2024. He didn't complete training due to time of hire.
Motion to approve, Martin.
Second.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. All right, the motion carries. Thank you, Sergeant Stevens.
Thank you, Commissioners. The Gates Police Department requested a waiver of in-service for Vincent Devon Tyus, hired September 1st, 2023. Chief Tyus to required training for 2024 calendar year to sufficient 22 hours. The waiver would keep the agency and the officer in compliance.
Gates Police Department represented online.
Yes, how's everybody doing? I'm Chief Tyus, Gates Police Department.
All right, thank you, Chief. So you have an officer that's deficient 22 hours, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Can you give us an idea what happened?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. I'm the only one working here. I got my grandson who's 5 years old. His mother passed away with a heart attack, and the state gave him to me before we were going in custody. And since I'm the only one here, I was hustling in between him and my work, and I also had Chris Carey working for me, which he was in an accident and got us tied up in a lawsuit. And I was dealing with that along with my grandson having problems because his mother was on drugs and he was going through a detox problem. So I was dealing with that and dealing with the lawsuit and all the other stuff going on around here. And I got time crept up on me and I jumped in as quick as I could and got all the hours, got all the hours that I could get as soon as I could. Dealing with the matter of the lawsuit and my grandson, now that I got everything in order, I just jumped in and tried to get all the in-service I can get. I just got behind on time, just caught up with me.
Okay, I'm sorry to hear about all that, Chief. So what plans do you have to try to get all these hours this year?
Like I said, I got in here and got on the in my in-service and got all my hours, I got all my mandatory stuff in line. I got all that in line, and just whatever it takes to get the rest of it, I'm jumping there and get it all done as soon as I can.
Do you show anything in his record to make up some of this? What about your firearms and your qualifications and your mandatory?
Oh, I got all my mandatory stuff done. Yes, ma'am.
And the firearms?
Yes, ma'am. I got my firearms done.
Chief, this is Commissioner Wright. Do you do that with Lauderdale County?
Sir?
Do you do that with the sheriff's office? Your firearms. Or do you do your
I did firearms with Covington, Chief Turner.
Okay. Have you ever, this is still Commissioner Wright, have you ever had any issues before with getting your in-service training? Have you ever been before the commission before for a waiver?
No, this is my first time ever being before.
You're the only officer for your town?
Yes, ma'am. At this point, I'm trying to hire some. At this point, I'm the only one here. Yes, ma'am.
Oh. So you said for this year, you've made arrangements with Covington PD to try to get all of your hours completed, all 40 hours?
I did arrangement with Covington to they did my firearms for me. I got all my firearms through Covington.
What about your other classes?
I'm trying to make arrangements to get all that done. I was trying to wait to see what the commission would do with me.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Russell, is this the first time that you've not got your in-service training in 1 year?
Yes, sir. This is my first time I've been before the commission.
And how long have you been an officer?
I've been here since I came in 2004. I've been here 20 years.
And how long have you been chief?
Just a year.
Okay, thank you.
Director Bell, can you give some background?
Actually, the Halls Police Department submitted a waiver of in-service for Chief Tyus and came before us on March 22nd of 2023, stating that he had completed 41 and a half hours of in-service training but did not complete mental illness, office wellness, public assembly for the 2022 calendar year, and that was approved for the 2023 calendar year for in-service that he missed in 2022. So this would actually be his second request for an in-service waiver. And we do have rules concerning multiple requests of in-service waivers, and something that we will plan on addressing later on in the agenda anyways. I don't know if legal wants to jump in and kind of walk us through that at this point, or?
As far as the statute's concerned, or?
Correct, sir.
I can't throw it out there.
Yeah, we're gonna put it up on the.
Paragraph B, I think, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So we're looking at our portion of the statute right there in paragraph B. Failure of an individual officer to successfully complete in service or result in the officer's loss of eligibility. Salary supplement, failure of the officer to successfully complete another in-service training session within 1 year will result in loss of certification. So that means that we don't even hold the hearing, it's just gone. And we have to plug it into a case to make it so. Yes, but and some of the other regulatory boards have a similar by operation of law provision. But just so you're aware that the legislature has taken this situation into account.
So this wouldn't be Chief Tice's second consecutive year, so it was 2022 and 2024. But I did want to bring that to the commissioner's attention, as we're going to have some folks that did miss consecutive years back to back on the agenda as we move forward, and wanted to bring that to your attention.
Well, what's the pleasure of the commission on this?
I'm sure may I be recognized for just a second.
Absolutely.
This comes to the point in our meeting where this colleague over here, Sheriff Spangler, would say the chat is this to have.
Put your seatbelt on, Chief.
So I want to take this great opportunity, because we're in the middle of our great legislative session here. We have great, wonderful legislative representatives on this distinguished board. But the city of Gates, Tennessee, which I don't know that I've ever been through, and we've got this young man that's there by himself, trying to do the best he can do, and for the city of Gates and his personal life, and I feel for the guy. But colleagues, had he been an elected constable in the state of Tennessee, he wouldn't even have to do any of this. You just follow what I said? If he was an elected constable, like I'm an elected sheriff, he wouldn't have to come before this board and ask for all this. And we allow those folks to be elected on a ballot, carry a gun, and do the same things that I, as an elected sheriff, that basically do without accountability. I just wanted to make that point, that if the city of Gates decided to hire a constable in Lauderdale County to be a one-horse town chief, legally, I think they could get away with it.
And we did address that with the rules subcommittee, and it's kind of more common that.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to educate my fellow colleagues here.
Do we get a degree?
Yes.
All right, Chief, are you still with us?
Yes, ma'am.
We're putting you on kind of hold there for a second.
Chief, this is Commissioner Ryan. I'm gonna try to tie this up here a little bit. You understand that if these have been 2 consecutive years based upon what legal said, that it would have been an automatic loss of your post certification. So this is, it's very important that you do get these hours. I know you had a lot going on. I'm gonna make a motion to approve it, but I would like to see reappear, I'm gonna say for our maybe June.
Why don't we make it July? He's actually scheduled to come to our 2-day post-Acadis and GDI training in June in Collierville. So that would be a good chance to for him to come to our class. We can kind of see what he's entered, and we can come back in July and kind of update the commission on where he's at.
And let's make that July to come back before the update.
And I'll second that motion.
Okay, everyone clear on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. All right, the motion carries. Okay, Chief, could you hear all of that discussion and what we voted on and where you are?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am, I couldn't hear you.
Okay, we just voted to give you until July to come back to the commission and let us reevaluate what your, if you've completed your classes for 2025.
Okay.
And we know that there's something scheduled for you in June of this year. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you think you can get there and get your hours in and be good to go the next time we get to see you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that'll be the July meeting for the post commission. That gives you several months.
All right. I
And the
appreciate
chief
you.
in Covington, I know will help you all that she can. She's a fine chief and a good woman with a good heart. So
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I
just reach
appreciate
out
her.
to those resources around you and let them help you.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
we send the very best to your family and hope things get squared away for you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
All right. Thank you, sir. Be safe.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hancock County requests waiver of in-service for the following officers who completed 40 hours or more of training, but did not complete the required mental health, mental illness response mandated training for the 2024 calendar year. The listed officers are there in the agenda, and we do have one deputy, Ralph Douglas Seal, who this is his second consecutive year of missing in service.
Okay. I see Hancock County Sheriff's Office is standing before us. Please identify yourself, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Deputy Eric Scott, Hancock County Sheriff's Office.
And who do you have with you?
Chief Deputy William Evans.
Okay, thank you. All right, so there's like 14 members of your agency here. Tell us about it.
Yes, ma'am. We're seeking a waiver, a service waiver to maintain a law enforcement certification. There was approximately 20 officers. 4 of them have already were approved. This was a result of us not completing one of the mandated classes. Our agency made a good faith effort to meet the post requirements for in-service. The deputies have completed 40 hours or more in training hours, but our GDI did not realize that the mental health class, mental health check tentatively since parents from 2023 was no longer authorized as a mental health class for 2024. In good faith, he thought that the class was still applicable for mandatory mental health standards. The post-training staff was excellent, was trying to help us through this. They went out of their way to try to find any classes that would have been applicable that fell under the mental health, in this case, mental illness mandatory training component, but they were not able to. And so they let us know that we had to come down and ask for the in-service waiver request. And then the other side of that for us is that it will not, my understanding is that it will not or does not qualify us for salary supplement. That will have a significant impact on our officers because for the most part, it's all the department. And being, of course, county and the state, I'm sure you understand how that impacts our personnel. So we're here to request a waiver while in service and any consideration that can be given to us to salary supplement.
Did you make up those 2 hours?
So at the time that we have the hours.
Yeah, but it was supposed to be mental health, and I think you substituted wellness.
Yes, ma'am, correct.
Is that what you did?
Yes, and because of the timing that it went through and we resolved all this was after the 2024 applicable credit time. I believe that that's why we weren't given an opportunity or couldn't be given an opportunity to make up those hours. On the 2025 schedule, we've overcompensated for that. But I don't know if that can be, any consideration can be given to this.
Is there anything else from the commission that we should know about regarding this case? Commission.
Madam Chair, Hancock County has explained it, that they took an officer wellness class and mistook that for a mental illness response. did discover that error, and so we were processing that as their salary supplement. So they just need the waiver approved to stay in compliance with the post guidelines.
Any questions from the commission?
And Commissioner Wright, so on this, Mr. Seal, that does now make safety gear, but it sounds like it was not his fault that he did not get the in-service. But they thought that they did, probably the GDI mistake. How do we handle him?
Can I assist with that, maybe, for consideration? When he didn't take it the previous year, he missed it because he had cancer. He medically could not participate in the process. And that's why we sought the waiver during that time period this year, just because of these circumstances.
And I think that's where my question lies, because I don't know if that statute we read made any exemptions for.
And there's no intent to not keep the in-service time, so the men's rate will be required, and not any.
Yeah, I think the only exemption in the statute and the rules is for military. All the other ones, and I think the medical ones do kind of fall in that odd gray area. And that's something that we had discussed, because you're going to have officers that are injured in the line of duty, that are going to fall into this category. And, so I certainly understand the commission's concern with, essentially decertifying somebody for not completing in service because they've got a medical condition.
Or because the GDI officer had the wrong class.
And I can understand where wellness and mental health, they kind of cross paths sometimes. And I can understand the mix up on that. Was Mr. Seal, did he get a medical waiver last year?
He did, correct.
So he did get a medical waiver last year.
Correct.
Well, that seals the.
Further questions?
I make a motion to approve, keep the department officers in.
Commissioner Wright, second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. All right, the motion carries. Thank you for agreeing with that.
Jackson Police Department requests waiver of in-service for the second year of Lee Kemper, hired March 22nd of 2004. Kemper did not complete the required training for the 2024 calendar year due to being on administrative leave since December of 2021. The waiver would allow the agency and the officer to remain in compliance. And Keith Kemper is now the interim chief at Medina County.
What?
It's in West Tennessee.
Gibson County next, north of Jackson. Just north of Jackson.
Is the Jackson Police Department online?
Yes, Sergeant Frankie Alda.
Hi, Sergeant. How are you today?
I'm doing okay. How are y'all?
We're fine. All right, so tell us if there's anything else we need to know about this one with Mr. Kemper.
Philip Kemper he was on admin leave. He had his administrative hearing on February 18th, and he was separated from our employment at that date and time.
So you're asking to keep him and the agency in compliance?
We're just wanting to keep the agency in compliance. Philip Kemper no longer works for us.
Okay.
Partner make a motion to keep Jackson Police Department in compliance, but not Mr. Kemper.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve the waiver and a second. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Okay.
That's right. If I may, I think this is gonna be another one we're gonna leave this off for limbo. Do we need to go ahead and make a motion to bring Mr. Kemper for the informal subcommittee?
Did I hear that he's in law enforcement? Sergeant?
I'm sorry?
Is Kemper still in law enforcement somewhere?
Yes, he's the interim chief at Medina Police Department.
So do we need to reach out to him?
It looks to me like we will find out if his status change will show up here at some point in time. So
Yeah, and they have submitted a pre-employment packet, and he's on the roster and working at Medina PD currently.
under the pre-employment packet, which leads to another conversation.
Okay, but we're okay with the Jackson Police Department. So that's the first one. We have a second one on Mr. Moss.
So I think we're still trying to figure out what we're doing.
Yeah, we need to make a motion to move it to an informal. Is that where we're at?
That's what I was kind of asking.
I'll make a motion to bring him to the informal.
Commissioner Wright says.
All right, all in favor of the motion on Mr. Kemper, say aye. Any opposed? All right, so that carries. But Jackson PD is still good to go on this first item.
Correct.
We need to look at the second.
Right, Jackson PD also requested a waiver of in-service for Brandon Philip Moss, hired September 20th, 2000. Mr. Moss did not complete the required training for the 2024 calendar year due to being on administrative leave since April of 2024. The waiver would keep the agency and the officer in compliance.
Okay, Sergeant, is he still on leave?
Yes, ma'am. Brandon Moss is still on leave and he is going to have his administrative hearing this Tuesday.
Should we revisit this?
We'll come back in 30 days, next meeting.
It's really just to keep the, I mean, he's not getting the salary supplement. If you wanted to bring it back in 30 days and bring it back next month, I mean, you'd be kind of be back in the same boat you were with Mr. Kemper of, you want to keep the agency in compliance and boot him to an informal hearing. That's certainly within the commission's power.
I want to make a motion to keep the PD in compliance. They're doing what they're having to do with these people administratively, but out of the administrative hearing or whatever, there may be unfounded things there that come back. So I don't think there's a whole lot we can do with him other than wait till his hearing's over with.
What, Commissioner Spangley, what's he on administrative leave for?
Sergeant?
What is he on?
I'm sorry?
What is he on administrative leave for?
Is it a
For,
disciplinary action? Is it a disciplinary action? I can't hear. Sergeant, is it a disciplinary action on Mr. Moss?
Yes. It's an internal investigation that's pending.
Commissioner Wright, so do we have any motion on?
I just got a motion to keep the department in compliance and moving them down the road.
If we can make a motion, keep the department in compliance, but bring Mr. Moss on to next month's agenda, just revisit what happened out of this administrative hearing, and then we'll be able to decide whether there's no action or move it to an informal.
And that would be Kemper and Moss.
Kemper's going to an informal, and then you want to bring Moss back next month to see the result of the administrative hearing.
Yes.
And then revisit the waiver.
Second.
Okay, everybody understand the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. All right, Sergeant, do you know where we are?
Yes.
Donaldson. You're with us, right? You're still, the Jackson Police Department is still in compliance. We voted for that, on both of these issues.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Kemper will be in an informal hearing. And Mr. Moss will need to appear before the commission in April as a result of whatever your hearing depends on your hearing next week. You said it's next week, right? Okay.
Yes,
so you
ma'am.
should know in April what his standing is, correct?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. All right, we're done with you.
Thank you.
Moving forward to Johnson County, they request a waiver of in-service for Reese George Stout, hired December 6th, 2023. He did not complete the required training for 2024. He separated from the agency in January 25.
Okay, someone from Johnson County Sheriff's Office online. Not seeing anybody, and this person's not with the department anymore.
And this will be one of those that we move to a consent agenda since they've already separated from the agency.
So we want to keep the Sheriff's Office in compliance.
Correct.
Okay, do I have a motion?
Motion to approve the agency, not the officer.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Johnson County Sheriff's Office is still in compliance.
Do we need to do anything with Stout on this?
He's already separated from the agency, so he falls into that bucket, like the ones we had earlier where, he's out of law enforcement currently, and so he's not really affected. Lauderdale County Sheriff's Office requests a waiver of its service for Justin Alexander Tate, hired October 28th of 2024. Separated from Halls PD in May. did not complete the required training for 2024 beyond a year and sufficient 28 hours. The waiver would keep the agency and the officer in compliance.
All right, is Lauderdale County Sheriff's Office online?
Yes, Chief Investigator Middlebrook.
All right, Chief, what else do we need to know about this, regarding, is this a deputy? Justin Alexander Tate?
He was one of the school resource officer. Like they stated, he did come from Halls PD, but he is no longer with us. He was terminated this month for allegations of fraudulent activities.
Commissioner Green, motion to approve the agency, not the officer.
Do you have a second? All right, we have a motion and a second to keep the Lauderdale County Sheriff's Office in compliance, but not Justin Alexander Tate. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, do you hear me, Lauderdale County?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Commissioner Wright, Lauderdale County, before you go, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Do y'all have a good working relationship with Gates?
Yes, sir. We do.
Can you kind of take Mr. Tice under your wing to help him try to get through some of this in-service, if you don't mind?
Yes, sir. We will.
He's up for adoption, so bless his heart. I mean, we're not making fun, we're trying to help him.
I understand. Yes, I will speak with my sheriff and my chief, and we will see what we can do.
Thank you so
Thank
much. Appreciate it. It's, there's a brotherhood here and he definitely needs some assistance.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on, the Laverne Police Department requested waiver of in-service for Brianna Porter, hired August of 2024. Ms. Porter did not complete the required training for the calendar year due to the time of hire and completes the transition.
Good morning, Laverne. Identify yourself, please.
Russell Howell.
All right, thank you. This is just a short time between when she was hired and during the in-service period.
Yes, ma'am.
Anybody have any questions?
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Beverly, second.
All right, we have a motion to approve and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. All right, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Moving on to Lawrence County. Lawrence County Sheriff's Office requests waiver of in-service for the second consecutive year for Eric Paul Caperton, hired February 2nd, 2014. He did not complete the required training due to being on suspended status. The waiver would keep the agency and the officer in compliance. And this again falls in one of those second consecutive year deals.
Okay, is Lawrence County online?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, please identify yourself for the record.
Yes,
Okay.
Lieutenant O'Rourke with the Lawrence County Sheriff's Office, TBI, GDI, and training officer.
Lieutenant, this is the second consecutive year that Eric Caperton did not finish the in-service. Can you tell us a little more about this?
Yes, ma'am. And this is actually going to be the same. There's another name on there, Ferguson, Zachary Ferguson, that's going to be in the same boat. Both of these gentlemen are narcotics investigators, and they were indicted for excessive force. This has actually been going on since, I can't remember if it was 21 or 22, but they have been on suspension or really administrative leave because their case has been tied up in the court system for that long. They were supposed to have a trial in February, and that was again pushed to May. The last I heard anyway. So it's been hard to keep up with where they're going or what they're doing with their cases. But that is the situation with both Mr. Ferguson and Caperton.
So neither one have completed in-service for the last 2 years because of this.
Correct.
Questions? Weigh in on this.
Well, I think the last guy, we did the same thing for, right? We tabled it.
Until the court, but do you have a definite court date? I wrote down May, but.
That was the last I heard because I could potentially testify. I have not been able to have contact with them, and the last I heard, which was a couple of weeks ago that their case had been pushed into May, but I don't have a specific date in May.
Like a motion to keep the agency in compliance and table the two deputies, Ferguson and Caperton.
Well, before there's a second, may I suggest that if you decide to move it to an informal, that the subcommittee is using those agreed orders of suspension to kind of accomplish the same thing?
I don't know if we go to an informal on this one. Because I remember the dealings with this before. I mean, they're in circuit court in Orange County. It's just very. We can't informal somebody that's not had their due process in criminal court.
Agreed.
Yeah. And actually, I believe this has actually gone federal, which is part of the delay.
Yeah, this is a minor issue with them right now.
But if it did go to an informal, we did place them into a suspended sentence at that informal. That's just, if everything is, they just come back before the fin.
That's good.
Resolve it then. It's not,
I don't think
we're not taking it away from them.
But sir, they're still technically employed as a Lawrence County Sheriff's Office, right?
Yes, we have not terminated employment.
So they're not going to work at another agency until this is resolved.
Correct. And actually, if we go by the date on when this happened, again, I don't have my records in front of me, but it was either in, I want to say it was in 21. And I think I actually spoke with Mr. Bello about this last year. There's a very good possibility that they're going to end up having to go through transition, even if they do come back to work. Because this will be greater than 3 years that they've been that they've worked. They haven't been in a full-time status.
Date of arrest on the arrest notification was February 2022.
Okay, 22. So we're over 3 years now. And I think Mr. Bellows and I talked about this last year as well, that if it went much longer, they would probably end up having to go through transition.
And also I'll make a note, if we schedule some of these folks that's under criminal indictments or in some kind of criminal issue, and we schedule them for an informal, and we end up here in the informal before they have their criminal trial, we're going to get into the discovery process, which any smart attorney's not going to let them do. It's going to get continued anyway. We're better off just leave it be and see you next year.
Right. And that's why we came up with that agreed order suspension instead of just putting them in a pending status, because it just prevents them from working at other agencies.
Okay, so what's the motion now? To keep Lawrenceburg Police, Lawrence County Sheriff's Office in compliance.
And
for these two individuals.
take no action.
All right, so they're pending or suspended.
That's my understanding, unless somebody disagrees. You're saying something different. But it's not going to change from where we were at last year since this happened.
And this Commissioner Green, I kind of agree with the sheriff. If we bring them in for an informal, they can't speak to this topic of how they're on administrative leave. So it's a moot point to have them come in from an informal and say, I can't talk about it.
And the sheriff has kept them employed. They're still technically on Lawrence County's roster. They're just inactive on administrative leave because of the criminal charges.
I'll second.
All right, do we need to do it like we did with Jackson Police Department, and if they're potentially set for trial for May, then maybe go ahead and set up for July or something like that? Or to come back and just give us an update then?
I feel confident in this case. It's going to be a while.
It's kind of been a while.
Yeah.
Well, I just was thinking that we may need to get
we could certainly put it on for like a June or July agenda and just update the commission and get with the agency and find out where it's at in the whole process.
I'll make a friendly amendment that staff give us a whatever 60-day report to that status until this is.
I'll amend my second.
Okay, so the motion is to keep Lawrence County Sheriff's Office in compliance and to get an update on the two officers or two deputies in July. Is that right? Or did you say 30?
60, I'm up for recommendation, whatever 90 days.
Yeah, if their next court date is in May, it probably would be June, probably the earliest we can give you an update. So we can do that.
In June.
And more than likely, if there's a battle between state court and federal court, they're all trying to figure out who's going to prosecute.
Okay. Everybody's clear on the motion. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Lieutenant, did you follow all that? We kept your agency in compliance, and the post commission is going to give us an update in June of 2025 on whether they had their court date in May and kind of what their standing is with your agency. Does that make sense?
Copy that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lieutenant. Do we still need to do Sarah
Yep,
Jessica?
and we have
Hudson?
one more from Lawrence County, requested, in-service waiver for Sarah Jessica Hudson, hired October 1st. She can complete the required training due to the time of hire.
Do we have a motion on this one?
Motion to approve.
Second. We have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, now we're done with you, Lieutenant.
Thank you. Greatly appreciate it. You guys take care.
Moving on to Lincoln County, the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office requested waiver of in-service for Mark Anthony Gay, hired September 10th of 2024. He didn't complete the training due to the time of hire. No, that was not on my copy. I apologize.
All right, so we'll skip Lincoln County Sheriff's Office, right?
Skipping Lincoln County. Moving on to Murfreesboro. Murfreesboro Police Department requested waiver of in-service for Robert Boyce Holloway Jr., hired June 29th, 2001. Holloway did not complete the required training for the calendar year due to retirement. We'll keep the agency and the officer in compliance.
Mr. Ryan, motion to approve.
Oh, hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Identify yourself
Samuel Smith.
from Murfreesboro Police Department.
Yeah.
All right. I'm sorry, we had a motion to approve and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you for waiting.
I'm hard to miss anyway, so. Y'all have a good day.
Bye.
The Newmarket Police Department requested waiver of in-service for Brandon Lee Mullins, hired November 4th, 2024. He didn't complete training for the calendar year and is deficient in his 8 hours of firearms training. The waiver will keep the agency and the officer in compliance.
Is the Newmarket Police Department online?
Yes, I am.
Please identify yourself.
Chief Rush, Newmarket Police Department. Chief William Rush, Newmarket Police Department.
All right, thank you, Chief. So tell me about this, not getting their 8 hours of firearms.
He has 68 hours of completed service, in-service training for this year. He left Jefferson County Sheriff's Department in June, and all of our firearms training was in July. And he was on the SWAT team or SRT team with Jefferson County. And I was under the assumption that he had completed the 8 hours with the team where it was an oversight on my part. And then he also completed an officer street survival tactics 40-hour block of in-service training with another one of my police officers in November. And it was just an oversight with me again. I thought that they might cover the 8 hours in that course, which they did not. So it's my fault that he didn't get his 8 hours, and asking for leniency from the commission.
Has he qualified this year on the firearms?
We will go through the 8 hours in July with the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department, but he has, yes, he does have qualification for the firearm he's carrying with our department. Yes, ma'am, but not the 8 hours. It's just a qualification course.
Questions from the commission?
Commissioner Ryan, how big is your department?
Sir, how large is my
How many
department?
officers do you have for your department?
I have 3 full-time officers. I am a working chief, which I'm working right now. I guess you can hear the radio. I'm sorry about that. Let me turn that down. But yes, there's 3 of us full-time, and I do have 3 part-time officers on the roster, but they rarely work with us because they have full-time jobs themselves.
Any further questions? So he's going to be able to get his official 8 hours of training and qualification in July. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, and this won't happen again ever.
Do you have a motion?
Commissioner Beverly, motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Commissioner Wright will second, but we do need to understand that if this happens again, that they will be automatically decertified.
All
I
right.
understand that.
Okay, thank you.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed, no? Okay, the motion carries, Chief. I hope you were wise enough to give yourself day shift.
I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am, I do work day shift.
Okay. All right. All right, thank you. Let's make sure you get everybody qualified this year, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you
don't want to see you again like this.
You will not.
All right, moving on to Shelby County. The Shelby County Sheriff's Office requests waiver in service for Mirage Lachey Johnson, hired November 2nd, 2023. She did not complete the required training for 2024 due to misunderstanding of the post rules.
Shelby County Sheriff's Department online.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
Please identify yourself.
Chief Inspector Carla Allen, and I have Captain Derek Alston and Deputy Johnson present.
So this was another one that you hired in November and they did not do all the in-service, is that correct?
That's correct.
Right, that's November of 2023.
It's November 2023, and she failed to attend in-service 2024.
She didn't do any in-service in 24?
No, ma'am. We sent out the notification to the supervisors for her to attend. And there was a lack of communication from the first line supervisor to Ms. Johnson, Deputy Johnson. Once we realized she did not attend in service, it was already December 31st of that 2024 year. So we have already had her attend in service for 2025, but she did fail to attend in 2024.
How long has she been a member of your agency?
She hired on November of 2023. We hired her from another agency. She came from Chattanooga, Tennessee to the sheriff's office in November of 2023.
I guess I'm just questioning why she didn't know she hadn't done her in-service and self-report. I know you're giving me that look.
Yeah, it looks like Ms. Johnson's been an officer since 2019, Chattanooga Police Department.
Yes.
Commissioner Beverly, Ms. Johnson, can you elaborate for us?
Oh yeah, it was a miscommunication in the dates for me. I've never missed in-service before, so it was just miscommunication. It won't happen again.
Commissioner Russell, did the supervisor get into any trouble for not relaying the message?
Yes, yes, sir. We actually, Deputy Johnson was also given a negative OBR, and the supervisor who failed to push the information up was also disciplined as well.
Commissioner Wilbur, was that person who was disciplined Sergeant White? Because we've got a letter from him. And it ends, if I told them that they did not have to attend in service, why would Deputy McAnally come and Deputy Johnson state that I told her not to attend? What's going on in that letter?
No, it's not Sergeant White. It was actually a Sergeant Reed. Sergeant White is an instructor here at the training academy. And so that's the information that that's the memo that he wrote. But the lead instructor here at the academy pushed it to her division. It was given to the sergeant. It was given to the lieutenant. The sergeant in the division that she was working in at the time, he failed to sign her up and have her attend in service.
So they were both disciplined. Is that correct? Did I hear you? Is that what I heard?
Yes, that is correct.
Are you scheduled for in-service in 2025? And I apologize if you said that, I missed it.
Yes, she has already completed her 40 hours of in-service for 2025.
Director Bello, is this 2 in a row or? She was first one, okay. I knew there was a transition there.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. What was the question or comment?
One of the commissioners was asking Mr. Bello a question of clarification. Do you have a motion or further questions?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Lane, can you let the record reflect I'll be abstaining from this vote?
Certainly. It sounds like you've made some corrective action there. Is that correct?
Yes.
Commissioner Wright, since the department heads took some corrective action and they have already went forward and got in-service done for 2025, make the motion to approve.
Russell, second.
All right, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. All right, the motion passed. So thank you, Shelby County.
Thank you.
Moving on to Union County, the Union County Sheriff's Office requested waiver of in-service for Andrew James Reed, hired January 1st, 2014. He did not complete the required training for 2024 and has since separated from the agency.
All right, is someone from Union County online?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, please identify yourself.
I'm General Department Instructor Philip King.
All right, so this deputy no longer works for you?
No, ma'am. We chose to separate with him. He was a reserve officer, and I didn't feel like it was right to come before the committee and ask for a waiver just simply because he chose not to do his in-service when our other reserve officers that work as well, other jobs, completed theirs.
So it sounds like you want to make sure that your agency is still in compliance. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. And I did send the letter in and attach it in a CADIS with his separation.
Russell, second.
All right, we have a motion to approve and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you, Union County. We approved it. You're still
Thank
in
you.
compliance. All right. Lay there, point to tell.
University of Memphis Police Department requested waiver of in-service for Kelly Ann Stroud, hired September 18th, 2006. Ms. Stroud did not complete the required training for 2024 calendar year due to an on-duty injury.
All right, University of Memphis, are you there?
I am a Lieutenant Ely, General Department Instructor.
All right, Lieutenant. So is this officer back on duty?
Yes, ma'am. Just a brief overview. Officer Straub was involved in an auto accident. She was rear-ended while on duty in a patrol unit. She sought medical care on June 10th. It was told her at that point that it would be an OJI and she would be out for an extended period. I did upgrade her in July 23rd and from active to on medical leave. She did return on 2/10 of this year. She did complete 32 hours of her IST. That would be the 8 mandatories and a few of the electives. The only thing she didn't have was deadly force in her firearms, but on her return, she was required to qualify and receive that 4 hours of deadly force, scoring a score 92. And she will be required to do 25 IST on top of that too.
So she's up to date.
Yes, she is back to work.
All right.
Commissioner Wright, motion to approve.
Commissioner Green, second.
All right, we have a motion to approve and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Lieutenant,
Thank you for the commission.
all right.
Moving on to the White House Police Department, they request waiver of in-service for Dylan James Waller, hired November 26, 2024. He was previously employed with TSU PD, and no in-service training was submitted to post for the 2024 calendar year. Therefore, the number of in-service hours Mr. Waller had completed was unbelievable. The waiver will allow the agency and the officer to remain in compliance with post guidelines.
Yes, you're with White House.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, please identify yourself.
Jim Ring.
Right, so have you learned anything else about this?
TSU is not reporting back to us whether the officer is reporting that he had the hours, but TSU is not giving us the hours or just not returning our calls. I should say that.
That's not very nice.
Well, we trust Waller and he said he had them. And we have since then, to be on our guard, we got 28 hours of his training already for this year. We just don't have the records for TSU.
Is there any records in this Cicadas file or anything?
No, ma'am. So a common problem that we come across with some of these agencies that are post-compliant but don't receive the salary supplement is they tend to get through the first hurdle of sending us a pre-employment, getting on the roster. But since they don't get a salary supplement, they tend to lack in keeping up with some of the other things. Because the salary supplement is our audit to go back and track some of those issues. We actually have a scheduled meeting with TACP and university chiefs to address some of these deficiencies, and something that we are looking to get them back on track and do some more training with these campus PDs and other agencies that are just post-compliant, but aren't post-certified to address some of these issues.
Okay, so you said he's had 20 hours so far this year?
Yes, ma'am. He's at 28 since January this year. And I may say that he hired November 26th of 2024. So we only had 4 weeks to try to jump through those hurdles. So I'm not saying they wouldn't respond. They just haven't in that time frame for us to submit his hours.
Commissioner Wright, motion to approve.
Commissioner Beverly, second.
All right, we have a motion to approve in a second. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? All right, you're good to go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to waivers of the 6-month rule. Following departments are requesting a waiver of the 6-month rule to keep their officers and the department in compliance. The Fayetteville Police Department requests a 6-month waiver for Jesus Manuel Jaquez, hired February 25th of 2025. He's unable to begin training due to class availability. He's scheduled to attend Toledo in August.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Spangler, second.
All right, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Fayetteville, are you listening? It's not, okay.
They've got a second officer here that also needs a 6-month waiver. Isaiah Jordan Polson, hired November 5th of 2024. He was unable to begin training due to class availability, and he's scheduled to attend Toledo in July of 2025.
Part of the motion to approve. Spangler, second.
All right, we have a motion for the second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Lincoln County Sheriff Office requested a sick complaint from Emily Francis Mann, hired January 1st, of 2024. She began training at Toledo in July of 2024, was unable to complete due to a skills failure. She's scheduled to re-attend the academy in the next available class.
Part of the motion to approve.
Second.
Spangler.
All right, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the motion carries. Lincoln County, did you hear us? If you're listening? Not saying anything, we'll just move on.
The Montgomery County Sheriff's Office requests a 6-month waiver for Roselle Smith, III, hired November 21st of 2024, unable to begin training due to an injury. He's scheduled to attend the Buck County Sheriff's Office Regional Training Academy in June of 2025.
Part of the motion to approve. Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Montgomery County, did you hear us? If you're online?
The Sevierville Police Department requests a 6-month waiver for Samantha Lauren Sarud, hired September 2nd of 2024, was unable to begin training due to an injury. She will attend Walter State Regional Law Enforcement Training Academy once medically cleared.
Part of the motion to approve.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Sevierville, are you listening? Okay. No.
Moving on to Smyrna Police Department, request a waiver for Benjamin Matthew Sutton, hired May 13th of 2024, was able to complete training due to a military deployment, will re-attend the Tennessee Law Enforcement Training Academy upon his return in October 2025.
Part of the motion to approve.
Spangler, second.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Is there any opposed?
I'm gonna need one abstention.
All right, one abstention. Smyrna?
I'll pass it on.
Okay.
Westmoreland Police Department requests a 6-month waiver for Bradley Wayne's Stenger, hired July 11th of 2023. In September 23, Mr. Stenger attended Toledo, but was unable to complete training due to medical issues. He will re-attend the academy in the next available class.
Part of the motion to approve. Spangler, second.
All right, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that's the Westmoreland Police Department. Consent agenda.
Commissioner Wright, make a motion to approve all items contained inside the consent. Jackson, second.
All right, we have a motion to accept the consent agenda. And a second, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Right.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
can you show that I abstained from any of the items related to Shelby County Sheriff's Office?
Yes, we will. Thank you, Chief. Old business.
Old business, Geronimo Garcia, he was the officer with the University of Tennessee Martin PD that we had last month, that the commission approved for the agency state compliance, but not the officer. And that's one of those that we just need to revisit. What are we going to do with the officer, either to approve the in-service, move them to some kind of disciplinary issue, come back and re-update the commission. We just kind of left him in limbo.
What's the administration of UT Martin going to do?
Michael O'Neill, Director of Public Safety. We're dealing with it internally on two fronts. Performance evaluations are coming up right now, and that's resulting in a unsatisfactory evaluation and a performance improvement plan. And we put him through scheduled him for some extra in-service training. He's completed 17 hours already this year, including the training that he missed last year, and he's scheduled for another 24 here before the end of June, in addition to the in-service that we already regularly do, like firearms and that. So he's gonna basically be making up everything he missed last year. He had 10 hours and he was short last year, plus the training that he has coming up this year for sport.
Did you have further questions?
No, I was just gonna say, a lot of this, it gets thrown upon us to do the dirty work when it's left on the they're taking action to look into, but it just comes to the point where you're gonna be in law enforcement or you're not. And you can do your evaluations and all this, and that. I commend you for giving us an update on that. But it's pretty cut and dry with us. They're either in or they're out.
Yeah, and I will say, we talked about this last month, and Lieutenant Garcia is on. He hasn't had, as far as I'm aware, he hasn't had the issues in his almost 30 years in the past. And he didn't want to bring it up before the board, but there were some FMLA things going on with him last year that he was not at work as much as he normally is. So that's what I was trying to put in. There were some mitigating circumstances.
And there's waivers for medical.
Yeah, but it wasn't enough to give him a complete excuse for the training. It's just that his time was much more limited than it normally would be.
And we also have availability of online things, and people are, they're not going to do in-service online at home. They send their patrol cars every day, every night for about a whole year to do these things. We make this stuff so easy anymore. And, there's 24 hours in a day, and we got folks, full-time students working as law enforcement, and I don't know. I just don't want to get on too bad of a rant, but I understand people have things going on in their lives. I do too. I still have to attend it. Matter of fact, I double up on it every year, double the hours.
No disagreement there. The rest of our officers averaged 76 hours of training last year.
But a lot of it too, we want to see what the administration or the city mayors, administrators, what decisions are they going to make? That'll have a big influence. That's just my comment.
So your agency is still in compliance? It's just this officer? Or did you say it was a lieutenant?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what is his status? You may have said that and I missed it. Is he still working full-time?
Yes.
And has he completed any in-service for this year?
Well, that's what I was saying. He's completed 17 hours so far this year of in-service. He's scheduled for another 24-hour block here before the end of May. And that's in addition to the regular in-service training we have scheduled for everybody. So he'll be well over for this year.
And he's completed his firearms?
Firearms, we haven't done yet. He completed last year. We haven't done firearms yet this year, but that will be part as well.
Commissioner Ryan, I was not here in the February meeting. How many hours was he short for the 2024 calendar year?
He was short 10 hours and one mandatory with EVOC.
I have a question. I think I know the answer for legal. If we give a waiver for an officer for the in-service, does that then not count against the 2 year, or would, due to the fact that us giving them a waiver, take away that 1 year?
Right, granting the waiver would give him a 1 year of not completed. So if he didn't complete this year, he would need a second consecutive waiver, which would trigger that rule of decertification.
Okay, so the waiver don't just.
Right.
Don't make it whole.
It doesn't nullify it, correct?
Okay. I just want to make sure. Since department's already got him with the 17 hours this year, and I'd like to get a little corrective action going on, make a motion to approve the officer to get him back on point.
Martin, second.
Okay, everyone's clear on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Right, post investigation update, status update regarding report on Henry Police Department with the delayed submission of pre-employment for Chief William Timothy Reeves.
Kevin Creed, post investigator. As of looking into the case as of last night, the pre-employment packet's still not in for Chief Reeves. And he, when I went in, did the visit, one part-time officer that was working more than 20 hours a week is still listed as a part-time officer that they were going to ask their city commission to make him a full-time officer. I don't know the status of that, but I believe he's online to tell us further about what he's doing on his end.
Okay, is someone online from the Henry Police Department?
And I know last month it was suggested he go to Henry County and ask for assistance, getting a CADIS and access to that and walk through the steps to get that pre-employment done. But as of last night, it is not in our system in the CADIS to show that it was processed.
And I'll share with the commission that Chief Reeves actually called me, and I spoke with him on Tuesday. He did tell me that he's going to be working with the Henry County GDI to help get another officer in so that he'll have some assistance. I did explain to him that he's working for two agencies, which causes that conflict of having access to a CADIS with two different agencies, and that he was going to have to pick, that he was going to do a CADIS for one agency and assign it to somebody else for another agency. And he realized he was going to get with the GDI of Henry County and try and sort that out. I asked him if he had any updates or needed any help for today, and he didn't ask for any, so here we are.
Also, if the commission remembers, he's also a part-time chief for the city of Hollow Rock, and that was just mentioned last time also. And that's where he has a CADIS access at. So,
He reminded us that there really was a Hollow
yes,
Rock.
yes.
Well, what's the pleasure of the commission? You're going to say something. And so no one's online. I don't see.
They are online.
Oh, they are?
I don't think they're speaking or unmuted.
Who is it? Is it?
It says Chief City of Henry.
We had trouble, I think, last time. You can't hear him. Is it?
I've tried messaging him as well and I can't.
Is Chief Reeves that's there?
Commissioner Russell, do you think legal can go over our options while we're waiting to get in contact with the cities? And Madam Chair,
Yes.
do you think that legal can go over our options while we're?
Oh,
doing
yeah.
that?
I was waiting for a response.
Bring him in or put him on the informal.
Commissioner Wright, make a motion to move the informal. Commissioner Beverly, second.
Okay, all in favor of the motion, say aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries.
Thank you.
Update on TCA 62-35-141. Uniform insignia designed for peace officers providing security outside of their primary jurisdiction. I have here an example of the proposed design patch that I will hand out. This is going to be the badge size. The shoulder patch size will be much larger. if the design is approved, we would want an approval for the small size for the badge replacement, and we would want, the design which is gonna be 4.5 by 3.5 inches to be approved for the shoulder patch. And if approved, the design would be sent to the approved vendor to create the patch, and then it would be sent to, as the agents, the security companies and officers needed them, they would go to the suppliers to get that patch. So we just need a vote as to whether or not you want to approve the proposed design and colors and scheme.
And I may have missed some of the discussion. So this would be only if they were working for a private company as opposed to being hired from one county to work at UT football games, working for a police agency.
Yes,
and I'll let legal
I'll just
counsel
read the statute that got us to where we're at right now. So this is in, it's not even in this is in 62. So this is not the post portion of the statute, but while a full-time being the key word, sworn peace officer certified under 107 is employed in a jurisdiction other than the full-time sworn peace officer primary jurisdiction. So Wilson County working in Davidson County, as an example. The officer's clothing shall bear insignia and markings clearly designated. The peace officer is private duty law enforcement. Tennessee Peace Officers Standards and Training Commission shall establish design criteria for the insignia and markings. So this hasn't never come up before. It's just sort of been there dormant, ready.
I don't think that would go under an MOU full-time.
Right.
In other words, if I got Chief Lane to come over and work monitoring for me in my agency with his officer's uniform, they wouldn't have to wear that.
It would be in your capacity.
Yes.
Was that mainly, I'm sorry,
That's my understanding.
Is that mainly for private security companies? Is that what it's geared towards?
When they're working full, right. And then the next follow-up is notwithstanding what I just said, a full-time peace officer certified our statute while employed in a jurisdiction of the primary jurisdiction may wear the primary jurisdiction's uniform if the jurisdiction has authorized the officer to do so. So you could have, the authority to wear your uniform in the other jurisdiction. But yes, private security, or people want to make a little more money for security, would be one instance where it would be.
Commissioner Beverly, I guess this really has to deal with who's giving them their paycheck at that time. Whether they're getting a check from the private security company, they would need to wear that patch.
Well, if they're, however, I think pay is sort of not the issue. It's just if you're outside your jurisdiction, not wearing your uniform, wear that patch.
Commissioner Russell, will there be any training on this in the yearly in-service? As far as when they need to wear the patch?
I think that would probably fall more into the
Or into
Private
private
security
protective security, or what's now known as DSLP, Protection Services Licensing Program. Same thing.
And who would be responsible if they are not wearing that under uniform or their clothing?
Whoever they were, right, well, that would be the agency that's got them working that day, if it were a private security company.
And what's the penalty for not wearing the patch when they're supposed to?
Given that they have civil, they being the private protective folks, it could be a civil penalty that for example, the security agency would pay. Yeah, because they have civil penalty authority versus this body that doesn't have any civil, like a fine. Is what I'm kind of getting to. Civil penalty is similar to a fine, I'm saying.
Perfect. I would like to see something, maybe the training, either in in-service or the academy, so they would know when they're supposed to wear this patch.
Commissioner Beverly, I agree. Some training would be nice just because it will be sworn law enforcement that will need to wear this patch, but I kind of like the idea when we're out in downtown Nashville, we know who the police are and who is not the police.
Yeah, and in that training, I think we need to make it clear that they're not to cover up this patch. Because I saw a guy just yesterday working for a construction company, and he had on a brown hoodie and blue jeans and a ball cap. But he took one of those traffic vests and put it, those lightweight we're all issued those for our accreditation and everything. And on the back of it, it said traffic officer. He was an officer. So I want to make sure they don't put something on that says police, like a hard vest or soft vest or something that would cover up that orange patch.
So it should be openly displayed.
Yeah, openly displayed.
Commissioner Doggett, what ramifications will there be in place if you've got someone that private security company who is not certified police officer who wears this insignia?
That would fall back under private security because they regulate that area, and being that they're not certified, the post commission wouldn't be able to take any action against them.
It would actually be a personal officer, and a district attorney general should be prosecuting these people that are downtown and locking them up in the Davidson County Jail. Is where they should be. Especially some of those I've seen that admitted they were convicted felons working for a certain company carrying a gun, guarding the good tourists and citizens of Tennessee, downtown Nashville. Convicted felons, Representative. Yeah.
Anything else on this?
Commissioner Ryder, we need a motion just to approve this.
Yes,
design.
a motion to approve the design so it can move to the next step.
Commissioner Ryder, I'll make a motion to approve that.
Commissioner Beverly, second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
The beautiful design.
All right, moving on.
All right, moving on to Washington County. Washington County Sheriff's Office requested to rescind the decertification request for Joshua Allen Johnson. And I believe we've got a representative of Washington County here today.
Sergeant Kevin Byrd.
I'm sorry.
Sergeant Kevin Byrd.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So, what else do we need to know about this? I know it's a decertification.
Just real quick, we were made aware of this back in December of 2024. This decertification request that was on Joshua Johnson. Apparently it was originally submitted back in 2018 under a previous administration. And we were unaware of it again until December of last year, whenever I received an email from investigator Ashley Ball. After reviewing the matter, talking with my command staff, it's been determined that we do not wish to pursue these decertification requests because we lack confidence with the previous administration's investigation into the incident, and we have no means to substantiate those allegations.
I'm thinking on this. You're asking to rescind it. Is this person still a member of your agency?
No, ma'am.
Commissioner Russell, where is the officer at in the decertification process?
Who's checking?
Would appear he is pending a full commission hearing. Looks like that's been pending for quite some time.
Sergeant, let me ask a question. Do you know if he's employed anywhere right now?
I don't believe he's in law enforcement. I cannot confirm that, but from what I've kind of asked around, I was told he is not in law enforcement in any capacity.
We don't show him active anywhere. Thank you.
All right. Will he still be on an agenda in the future for decertification?
That would depend on whether or not you approve the request to either terminate the process or the commission will decide to move forward with it.
Mr. Commissioner, so I've got a little sidetracked confused here too. You're requesting to pull away the decertification process for somebody that is no longer working for Washington County, is that correct?
Correct.
And what was that based off of?
Well, it was like, again, that decertification was apparently requested back in 2018 under a previous administration.
Is there any files there to
just
show why they sent in for
there were some things that we looked at back in the internal part that was done. Again, we couldn't substantiate half those claims. Even at that, when we looked into it, it was like, okay, why wouldn't, if this was actually occurred, why wasn't criminal charges in place? So.
Is there been any consulting with the district attorney general?
No, sir.
But this person hasn't been in law enforcement since 2018.
That's correct.
Oh, wow.
Commissioner Russell, what was he being certified for?
The original charge, I do not know if it was for misconduct or what it was for. I could not tell you.
Snow?
Yeah, I can, let's see here, Joshua Allen Johnson was terminated from this agency on April 23rd of 2018 for violation of the below listed department policies. And I'm respectfully requesting that he be decertified as a law enforcement officer in the state of Tennessee on truthfulness, unbecoming conduct, possessing property and evidence. On April 23rd of 2018, Officer Johnson was interviewed by Chief Deputy Layton concerning some narcotics that Officer Johnson failed to turn into evidence after seizing them from an individual. Officer Johnson was untruthful during the interview process and was terminated. Two other officers were interviewed about the incident, and after Officer Johnson was terminated, he met threats to kill the other two officers and their families and himself. On April 23rd of 2018, the Washington County Sheriff's Office SWAT team was activated in an attempt to locate Mr. Johnson. It was feared that he may be a danger to himself or a member of the agency. He was located and transported to the Johnson City Medical Center for a mental evaluation. And it was determined by a physician that he needed to be transported to Woodridge Psychiatric Hospital for further treatment. He was discharged from the hospital on April 30th of 2018.
So Sergeant, do you think now that you really need to, your department and sheriff need to pull this out of a decertification based on what you heard?
No, sir. Sheriff Sexton said he does not want to pursue it. The investigation that was originally done, he doesn't.
Well, I'm fixing to make a motion. You go back and tell Sheriff Sexton that we're going to pursue it.
Yeah.
I make a motion, we keep moving forward.
Russell, second.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. No offense to you, Sergeant.
Oh,
That's the business that we're in and that's action we need to take.
I'm taking.
All right. Be safe going back.
Uh-huh.
All right, new business. We want to add a new item.
Yes, Madam Chair, we added the matter of Evan Coker, formerly of the Paris Police Department, who resigned during internal investigation. He has entered into an agreed order to surrender his post certification, and we would just need a motion to accept his surrender.
Same motion.
All right, I'm looking for to make sure she's able, all right. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the motion carries.
All right, we have an agreed order of surrender for Terrence Marcel Jackson, who was employed by the Clarksville Police Department October 1st, 2013 until his termination for violation of departmental policies and procedures. Mr. Jackson agreed to surrender his post certification.
Commissioner Wright, motion to accept this.
Russell, second.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Agreed order of surrender for Mark Logan. Mr. Logan was employed by the Humphreys County Office December 2017 until his termination. He's also agreed to surrender his post certification.
Commissioner Wright, motion to accept the agreement.
Okay, and the second?
Jackson, second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Agreed order of surrender for Jody Simmons. Mr. Simmons was employed by the Hickman County Sheriff's Office until his termination for criminal conduct, and he has agreed to surrender his post certification.
Commissioner Wright, surrender or suspend? This isn't our plan, suspension.
I have surrendered.
Yeah, mine says surrender.
On Simmons, I said.
Oh, I'm sorry. I've done jumped ahead. You might make a motion that we accept it.
Do we have a second?
Lane, second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
We have an agreed order of suspension for Tyler Bowling. Mr. Bowling's employing agency submitted a request for decertification for conduct that constitutes grounds for decertification. He's agreed to the suspension of his post certification. Yes, I think
we'll hear from legal about what the agreed was.
This is a suspension pending, the DA taking a decision about going forward with presenting to a grand jury. So he'll have to come before, once that's resolved, he will have to come before the commission to ask for it to not be suspended. So this is just a suspension while there's pending litigation.
The suspension's indefinite.
Okay. That's Commissioner Wright, motion to approve this suspension.
And a second?
Russell, second.
All right, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Is there any opposed? Okay.
The Shelby County Sheriff's Office Training Academy requesting approval of their 2024 annual academy report. And everything is up to par.
Is there a motion?
Commissioner Ryan, motion to approve.
And a second.
Sorry.
All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. All right, any opposed?
Yeah.
Starting to lose over here. Hang with me, boys.
The Houston County Sheriff's Office, matter of Stephen Kent Gray. They had made us aware that Mr. Gray was convicted of a criminal charge that could have resulted in jail time. He was hired January of 2023. September, that's incorrect. In September 2021, he pled no contendere to official misconduct charge and was placed on 2 years of supervised probation. He no longer works for the agency.
Is Houston County here or online?
I spoke with Sheriff Sugg yesterday. He wasn't going to be able to appear. He's got budget stuff going on today. But I can probably answer any questions that you have.
So, what is the request? What is it?
So the post rules state that anybody that's convicted of any criminal offense, federal, state, municipal code that could result in jail time, could face disciplinary action by the commission. So this would just be to put this before the commission that he falls into that category, that you could move it to an informal. If you want to hear some of this Cliff Notes version of what led him to being in that bucket, I can certainly share that with the commission.
I make a motion to move to informal.
Commissioner Beverly, I'll second, but you're pleading no contender to a felony. That kind of valid, isn't it? Wouldn't that automatically revoke or he's not eligible?
It would just make him ineligible to come back. It doesn't really, yeah.
So did we have a second on your motion?
I second it.
Okay.
For discussion.
Everybody clear on the motion? All right, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Now the in-service training.
Late submission of in-service training, the list of agencies minus Claiborne County, which we removed from the agency, from the agenda, determine action for submission of their 2024 in-service training. So these are just agencies that sometime when we were doing their salary supplement process, we have found that they had missing training that was never turned in, or they submitted it after the 2024 calendar deadline to submit in-service training. So we just need the commission to review it. If you want to ask questions from some of these agencies, you can. It's just once you start crossing into other years, it becomes very, very difficult to keep up with what training goes to with what year. And the post rules do state that an agency, GDI, is supposed to submit that training to us within 30 days of the officer in the agency completing that training. And that's to avoid these issues. So some of these agencies fall in this bucket continuously every year. So we've started to put these on the agenda so that the agency can be aware, see these agencies and go, wait a minute. We've seen this as a continuous problem. The rules and the statutes do allow for the commission to evaluate and look at an agency that's continuously having issues with their training and consider them to be out of compliance, and for us to go back and evaluate their training program. The rules also allow for an agency that their GDI fails to submit their training in a timely fashion repeatedly to revoke his GDI certification. So those are things we kind of just wanted to kind of put before you to kind of mitigate, help steer these agencies back onto the right track and get them in compliance. So that way we're not seeing these in-service waivers because folks aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing and checking and keeping their folks up to stuff.
All of these agencies, there's 13 now, are currently in compliance.
Yes, if you were to approve their late training today, they would all be in compliance and we could move their salary supplement forward.
But are they frequent flyers of being late?
We have seen some of these agencies before, yes, ma'am.
So it's every year.
Well, we've only started really tracking it in the last 2 or 3 years.
Commissioner Russell, is there any kind of like a group that y'all get together to remind the GDIs of when they're supposed to be submitted and?
Oh, yes, sir.
And is there a way maybe to set forth like a group, smaller groups so they can remind each other?
We can certainly look into that. And there was some discussion in our last staff meeting about possibly, with the approval of the commission, if we were to find a frequent flyer, possibly doing some kind of a tiered system of, hey, we need to do some online check-ins, phone check-ins, hey, no, now this is your second or third time, we feel it's a serious violation that it needs to be an in-person check-in. We're gonna be sending somebody out to you on a 3-month, 6-month basis. So there are definitely some things we're looking at doing to try and mitigate and keep this from happening.
That'd be great.
I guess I would say that, I mean, first of all, I'm glad they're in compliance now. But if you have people that are consistently late, they know this rolls around every year, right after the holidays. So, I mean, there ought to be some penalties at some point. Y'all shouldn't have to have all this extra work to remind them. It's like, come on, you want your money or not? Are you in compliance or not?
We agree. Save us a lot of headache and a lot of work.
Some of them, you know, we can see the names on here. We've seen one earlier. I mean, these little towns, they change chiefs or they're half chiefs of this town, that town. And I get it with a lot of these little small 1-man, 2-man, 3-man departments.
The county?
Well, now there's no excuse for sheriff's office. None.
Well, and I'm not
But
trying
the
to single
little-
them out, but they're larger.
They're larger, but the little police departments and stuff, and then I see one here that's always in the news for something. I'm not even gonna say it. I'm not gonna jinx ourselves. But, yes, I totally agree, Madam Chair.
And you can do it online, or you can get somebody to help you get it online. They tried to make it easy. I mean,
And-
amen in that.
And I'm not so sure that online is not hurting us in law enforcement. I personally went back to in person. That way I can physically see who's there myself and not there. And I'm not so sure that in rules that we don't need to legislate that we go back to all in-services being in person. Because it seems like with all this that we've had on the docket today, that we can't get nobody to sit in a patrol car and get their in-service
I
done.
meant online submittal.
Yeah, but I'm talking about in-services, period.
I got you.
Because that leads to a whole lot of issues up here. It seems like.
Commissioner Wright, with just tossing this out there, would it be helpful if we had these broke down into, I mean, this is our first time, second time, third time, fourth time, and then we could really dive in on those departments and
And that's actually something our team is discussing, now that we have moved into and kind of settled into this new format of online salary supplement, is tracking some of these trouble agents, figuring out a better method of tracking that and collecting that data so we can report that to you better. So that's certainly something we're looking at.
And Commissioner Russell, I think on these repeat offenders, as they have been repeat agencies, we may want them to start coming in here in person also, instead of having the luxury of viewing this and reporting back online.
So the commission is looking for us to approve their submission for their in-service training money for 2024. Is that what are you looking for?
Correct. We just need to approve their late submission so that we can continue to process their salary supplement.
Commissioner Green, would it be appropriate to read the names of these to put it in the record? So anybody listening might, I hate to embarrass somebody, but maybe they need to be embarrassed a little
Well,
bit.
you know, if I was missing out, I mean, the state legislature graciously doubled our in-service stipend last year. And I see the hard work that was put into that. And then I see the lack of not caring here. I mean, if I was a police officer in one of these little places, sheriff's office, I'd be jumping up and down that I missed out on $1,600.
And it's not their fault.
And it's not their fault. That's what makes me upset is the how hard that we fought to get that, in the state legislature, the governor and everybody signed off on that. We have gotten more money in the last 8 years for law enforcement in this state than ever before. And people are just sitting on their rear sides, not getting the job done. Ooh.
And that's certainly why we want to kind of put these on the agenda, bring them to your attention and kind of point out that section of the rules that does allow us to kind of, it's not our place to tell the agency who can be GDI, but maybe sometimes we need to point out who shouldn't be GDI and revoke that GDI certification to avoid some of these issues.
Or we put in place what we should have requirements of what our GDI is. I mean, it's different. I mean, they've got requirements of what a sheriff's got to be. And this is in GDIs. We may need to look at something legislatively requirements for GDIs.
Yeah, so and there is a brief outline in the post rules as to what somebody needs to have to be a GDI. They have to be appointed by the administration. They have to have at least 5 years as a police officer. They must have at least had 1 year as a training officer. But the very last sentence is the proposed commission can waive some of those exceptions. And so we waive sometimes the requirement of the training officer. And you're right, Sheriff, some of these smaller departments, and we see a lot of turnover in these GDIs and training officers. And this is not something, the post rules are almost 60+ pages. And it's not something you can just kind of dive into with Bob retiring on Friday and you walk in his office on Thursday and like, hey, figure out what he does and take over. And so that's kind of where we see some deficiencies and some gaps where by the time you get somebody trained up, you're starting all over with something brand new and you kind of struggle to do the same pitfalls. So we're looking at some things we can do training wise to kind of help some of these new GDIs and training officers as well.
Well, I see a lot of these agencies are behind me here.
But for today's purposes, we would just need a motion to approve the late trainings. We can move that forward.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Wright, first, still diving in on this a little bit. Can we get it to where I can go back to again, so that we know which ones that this is their second consecutive year? Because at some point, I think we need to really talk about it. If you go 2 years in a row, then whether you're small or large.
We can do that. You want to, since once we process these and get salary supplements done, maybe July, kind of come back and show which ones we did the same thing with in 2023? Would that be fair?
I was, go ahead, sir.
Well, I was gonna say, I don't know that it would make that much difference. Now looking back, it's just more this time next year. When we get to this point,
Certainly, yeah.
having on this is a 2 year in a row vendor, this is a 3 year.
Yeah, we
And then
can
we
certainly do that for next year. Absolutely.
I'll say. Just for discussion, I'd like to take it a little bit further, approve what is up here, but anyone or any agency that this is their second year in a row, that we set them to come back up here and let's discuss this in person and make sure they're on the right track. So if this was their second year, we asked them to show up at the April meeting to make sure that they had the proper procedures in place to eliminate this happening in 25.
So the stats check.
I
Yes,
accept that as a friendly amendment.
friendly amendment.
Do we have a second?
Commissioner Wright said.
All right, everybody's clear on the motion that was amended. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
The Maynardville Police Department, kind of the same thing, requested approval for late submission of their 2024 firearms lesson plan. So I'm sure we were processing their salary supplement, saw that they were missing firearms, saw that they never submitted a lesson plan to turn it in. So it's just that trickle effect feeling the onion.
But they completed the 8 hours.
It's done. It was just never a lesson plan. They never submitted completed training. So yeah,
You've done it now.
correct.
That's the motion to approve.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
A post-investigative report, post-investigative report findings of investigation conducted on the following agency. We had an investigation into the Eagleville Police Department for working a non-certified officer in a solo capacity.
Good morning, Investigator Cantrell. So in mid-December, I got a report from an anonymous source that Eagleville was allegedly working a non-certified officer solo. I brought it to the attention of Director Bello and Director Kane, who were there at the time that I got the complaint. Routed it through legal and started looking into it. And I have not been able to find any evidence to substantiate the complaint. I called Chief Brennanizer. He told me that he had an officer that was about to graduate the academy the following week, but he had not been working solo, that he is with his non-certified officers the whole time that they're on the ship. But I haven't found anything to contradict that.
Martin might take motion to take no action.
Commissioner Wright second.
Okay, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Right, thank you.
Fentress County, we had an investigation for falsifying training records and not meeting pre-employment standards.
Kevin Craig, post investigator, and this also goes with the waiver, in-service waiver for Sheriff Reagan that we discussed earlier. that was bumped to later on in the meeting today. So we did get a complaint on, people not meeting employment standards at the department. We were quickly able to determine that was not a proper claim. Everyone who's working there does meet pre-employment standards. There was also an allegation of one of their employees not qualifying with their weapon for in-service. That was quickly determined to be a false allegation also. The deputy was qualified with a firearm, and there was 2 witnesses to say that that individual qualified with their firearm. The big issue we have today, though, is the sheriff, Sheriff Reagan, asking his GDI, Mr. Milton, to do his online VA Academy training for him. And I went to the department, interviewed Mr. Milton at the Sheriff's Department. He did admit to completing the Sheriff's VA Academy. I believe it was a total of 6 hours and 5 classes. If you look at the report, one of the classes is crisis intervention for those with mental illness, improving law enforcement response to people with mental illness, police health and mental wellness, and Watcher 6 mental health wellness. So it was a total of 6 hours, but 4 classes, sorry, 6 hours and 4 classes. The problem this creates is that goes into his permanent file as his training record. The GDI has that, goes into the Sheriff Reagan's personal file with ACADIS here. It also would have made him eligible for salary supplement, which would have defrauded the state of Tennessee. So he, number one, the GDI submitted another officer's training for him. And also we went to the agency to stop the submittal of the salary supplement with a false $800 salary supplement to be given to the sheriff. So we stopped that process. So it wasn't submitted to us. So there was an attempt to defraud the state of Tennessee, though, of the $800 salary supplement for Sheriff Reagan. I also interviewed Sheriff Reagan. He also took full responsibility for it. He said he asked his GI to do it for the classes because it was the end of the year. He said he normally goes to TSA, the Tennessee Sheriff Association meetings, and gets his training through the association. He missed it this year and he wasn't able to get the classes there. And this was the end of the year, December, and that's when he asked his GDI to take the classes for him. The GDI, knew it was wrong, but went ahead and did it anyway. He was very remorseful, and so was the sheriff. But it is an attempt to defraud the state of Tennessee of $800. And somebody took the classes for another officer, which this goes into Sheriff Horton's explanation of the virtual training, the online training platforms. Anyone can log in at any time. Also, when I was at the office of the sheriff, on his desk, there was 2 sheets of paper with the answers of the training already written out, A, B, C, D, on the training forms for the V Academy online classes. I asked him about that. He stated that he took those classes. He did take some V Academy classes, some online classes himself. And what he likes to do is write down the answers down as he goes. So if you have to retake the test, he knows which ones he missed and which ones he had proper. But it's been this commission's, in the past, we know that officers exchange the answer keys back and forth to each other. I just couldn't prove that was the case in this situation. But the training profile in ACADIS for Sheriff Reagan is inaccurate. It's a false entry by the GDI. Sheriff Reagan knew about it. The GDI knew about it, did it, and entered it in, and they attempted to defraud the state of Tennessee of $800. So that's what I have today.
Commissioner Russell, was there a class on ethics that he missed?
I think he's online.
Anyways.
Yeah, the sheriff is still, he's online right now. He was the one who was representative of their agency for the in-service waiver. Since we knew about this and we knew his ACADIS profile was inaccurate and fraudulently obtained, we did not give him his salary supplement for this year. And until this was presented to the commission, we still had to go ahead and ask that agency for a waiver for the in-service waiver, since he did not meet his 40 hours. But whatever the commission decides today, whatever your determination is, then we'll decide what the waiver is at that time.
Did the district attorney review your case file?
No, no, sir. We did not present it yet. We were waiting for the commission to give us guidance of what the next course of action is, the comptroller, TBI, DA, or decertification, whatever your options are on the table.
Thank you.
Are you folks from Fentress County? Right, sitting there. I saw you leaning forward like you were gonna jump up and say something. No?
I think they're on.
Sheriff was on the line.
Yeah, I see him. I just didn't. They don't look interested.
We're all interested in this one.
I know. So, Sheriff, I see you online. Is there something you would like to add to this conversation?
Yes, ma'am. First of all, I'd like to apologize to the you all and the sheriffs also. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
And I've never done anything like that in my life. Back to business. I always go to sheriff association and not usually, I do my stuff like I'm supposed to, but I just failed to do it, and I'm sorry. Yeah. To leniency, if you give me leniency, I promise you it won't never happen again. And I told you earlier that we had a clash with the district attorney's office, which was 4 hours. It was post-approved. It was done. Of course, you can't see anything. I held it up there. You can't see anything. It was post-approved for 4 hours, and lo and behold, we done it March the 21st, 2024. We didn't get the certificate till January 31st of January or something. But I know that's not not your all's fault or anything, but I'm just asking for leniency. I've never been in front of y'all for anything, and always try to do what's right. I'm sorry.
The commissioners have a question.
Commissioner Beverly, you understand, Sheriff, these are two different issues. The first one is not completing the training, but more importantly, we're paying attention to someone else completing it on your behalf, signing official documents that you completed the training, and then submitting those documents to be compensated for that. You understand these are two different issues, correct?
Yes, sir.
Anybody got anything else?
Sheriff, this is Commissioner Lane. Did you sign off on the sheet, the salary supplement sheet, saying it was true and accurate?
So if I can interrupt that, sorry, but the submittal, we stopped the salary supplement. Okay. But it was not submitted until after I went to their office.
Okay.
They did not submit it until after, and they left him off of it for the salary supplement. But if we never went to their department, they would never have known that this was an issue, and it would have been presented. So it was an attempted theft. But it was not submitted because we went there in January. And if we went there in March, it would have been submitted in February, and we already given them a check.
Okay, thank you.
No problem, sir.
Commissioner Beverly, again, I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, I don't think this is any different than any of the other truthfulness issues that we have. And I think the thing that really bothers me the most is now we put another officer, made him criminally culpable. From a person in leadership. And so I've got major issues with this case.
Commissioner Beverly, again, I agree with everything you just said, and that there's two people involved in this. I'm going to make a motion that we refer GDI Mifflin and Sheriff Reagan to an informal hearing.
Commissioner Wright will second.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Is your response?
Was that, just for clarification, was that just for the sheriff or both officers?
So Sheriff Reagan, I will be in contact with you to set up a date in the near future for a decertification hearing.
Do you need my cell phone number?
No, sir, I have all that information. I'll take care of it at these meetings, probably early next week.
Are we ready for Monterey?
All right, so Monterey Police Department investigated the arrest of former Chief Bill Wayne Randolph and the possible falsification of training records that was submitted.
So Kevin Creve, Tennessee Post Investigator again. This started with a Tennessee Comptroller report on the Monterey Police Department. The report was published 11/7/24, and the report from the Comptroller's office determined that the Chief of Police, Bill Randolph, attended 36 hours of post-accredited training at the 2022 training conference in Gatlinburg. During this training conference, it was determined by the Comptroller's office and also interviews with other officers there by the Comptroller's office that the chief did not attend any of these training events at the training conference. The chief was arrested, and the Comptroller also determined that there was $2,400 of fraud, of theft that occurred by the chief. The city of Monterey paying for him to go to the conference, his hotel, registration fees, all that stuff. So we're dealing with the arrest of the theft, the official misconduct, all those issues there. But what's also is the issue is in his training record in ACADIS, this 36 hours that were fraudulently obtained, that he did not attend any of these 36 hours, was also submitted for his salary supplement for the year of 2023 for the training year of 2022, but salary supplement of 2023. He did receive $800 of salary supplement from this commission with the 36 hours of fraudulently obtained training. So we're dealing with the arrest and also fraudulently obtained training records in his permanent file with ACADIS and the $800 salary supplement that was given to him. I did speak to the GDI of that department, GDI Bates. He told me that GDI Bates also went to the training conference with the chief of police during that time period. And he didn't learn until after he submitted the salary supplement that those hours were not obtained properly. He found out, according to him, after he submitted the 2022 salary supplement to us in 2023, that's when he found out that it was fraudulently obtained hours. And he already submitted his salary supplement of 2023. I asked the GDI, well, once you submitted the salary supplement and you found out that this was fraudulently obtained hours, why didn't you tell us? He said he didn't think he had to tell us, and he knew the Comptroller investigation was going on. So we have the chief of police with the arrest. Monterey Police Department did notify us of the arrest. I reached out to Monterey, and they are not wishing to decertify the chief of police for the arrest. He's no longer working there either. He's terminated and also gave us a notification of arrest, but they're not wishing to decertify him. But we have today the theft, the fraudulently obtained $800 and a training profile in his ACADIS profile for 36 hours that was fraudulently obtained.
All right, well, what's the pleasure of the commission?
That's right. If he's not working anywhere, we can still send him to them. I might come on, send him to them.
Commissioner Green, I second.
All right, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
And just one more thing, is there a way I could get your opinion on if we should refer this back to the district attorney's office on the $800 fraudulently obtained his post salary supplement? That was not only a Comptroller's report where he was arrested for that because it wasn't known he was fraudulently obtained at that time. They charged him with theft and all those items, but only for the conference fees and his salary and hotel fees. But the $800, if we could get restitution for that, that'd be great.
Commissioner Russell, was it 800 at that time or 1,600?
It would have been $800.
Okay, thank you. Do we want to just take a vote on doing that? I think probably know where it's going to go.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There you go.
I'll give that to the DA's office. Thank you.
The Ray County Sheriff's Office, we conducted an investigation, reference to a complaint of the Sheriff's Office working with uncertified officers in the solo capacity.
Investigator Cantrell. So we got a Comptroller's report Fortitude Legal. And when they did their audit of Gray County, and on November 18th, I paid a visit to Gray County Sheriff's Office and met with the sheriff, the chief, their GDI, and one of his training officers, and talked with them about the complaint about a non-certified officer working by herself. And it turns out it's actually animal control is under the sheriff's office in Ray County. And it was an animal control officer who had actually recently graduated the academy just before this. I think where the misunderstanding came in was animal control wears the same exact uniform that the sheriff's office does. And so the recommendation was made during the meeting that maybe they might want to change up the uniform for animal control so that there's not any more misunderstandings in the future about this. And the sheriff had said that they would be making some corrections, but like I said, the officer in question had just graduated the academy prior to this.
Everything good?
Yes.
Make a motion, take no action.
Second. Do we have a second?
Yes.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. All right, motion carries. Sure.
And the White County Sheriff's Office, an investigation for working non-certified officers in a solo capacity.
Kevin Creighton, Tennessee Post Investigator. So this was another referral from our legal team that initiated an investigation on the White County Sheriff's Department working 5 deputies in a solo capacity who weren't certified. I did contact the White County Sheriff's Department. I spoke to Major Lynch. Major Lynch, I gave him the names that were given to us that were not working, that were not certified working solo. Major Lynch agreed that his sheriff's department was working these officers in a solo capacity who was not graduating the police academy, uncertified. He said he was unsure of the rules. He thought once the deputy new hire was hired and went through the FTO program and had a firearms qualification, he thought that then they were allowed to be on solo patrol until they attended an academy. As of this date, as of that phone call I had with Major Lynch, he made those deputies no longer in solo capacity. They got teamed up with FTOs and other deputies, and all 5 of those started the police academy in January of 25 this year. And to this day, 3 of them are still in the academy. One of them resigned the police department, resigned the sheriff's department, and one of them is left and is going to be re-enrolled for the next class here in Toledo. So 3 of them are currently in the police academy, will be certified deputies next Friday if they pass everything. But they were working solo deputies that weren't certified. And they did acknowledge that and took corrective action once they were aware of it.
Any questions by the commission?
I would recommend you go back with Major Lynch and spend some time with him in 30 or 60 days to make sure this doesn't reoccur.
The commission can also recommend that he attend one of our upcoming training. We'd be more than welcome to, happy to come out. And we're going to be in Blount County here in April, so that may be a little close for him to schedule, but we are more than happy to schedule another event that's going to be close to him and make that available for him to attend.
Might be good for the sheriff to come too. I hadn't seen him since we graduated back here about 7 years ago. Hadn't seen him at all. Probably good for him to come too.
So that's certainly something we can schedule and then report back to the commission once he's attended that training and completed that.
So do we know how long Major Lynch has been on law enforcement? I find it really hard to believe that.
If the commission remembers,
Danger.
if the commission remembers a few months ago in a decertification hearing, I believe the officer was Veronica Dodge. That was the female officer that White County submitted him for decertification with determination. And there was, the commission asked him some questions about, he was here, he was online, I believe. No, he was in person for that. About, did you terminate them once they found out they had another job and that's why you're submitting them for decertification? So there was some discussion with the commission back then about their knowledge of the post rules.
Yeah, it didn't seem like it was retaliation, if I remember correctly.
I'm not gonna say that, but it was, I will say knowledge of the post rules.
He's been with White County since April of 08.
Do we need some sort of motion here?
Yes.
I'll make a motion that the sheriff and this major both come to a mandatory, what meeting you want them at, Brown? Training you want them at?
We can schedule something with them, and we can host it in White County and open it up to area GDIs, and we can do that.
I'll leave it open-ended for the next available, either in White County or in Nashville at Donaldson for training. I'll put both of them down for that.
Do we have a second?
Russell, second.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right,
Thank
thank you. And public comment?
It looks like we just had officers sign this up, maybe as thinking it was a sign-up sheet. So I see John Griffith from New Hope, Jim Ring from White House, and Detective Shane Stanton from Jackson County. You guys have public comments or just matters on the agenda?
I believe those officers thought that was a sign-in sheet in the beginning.
That was.
Yeah.
Then we would have nothing for public comments.
Any further business?
I have one item.
Madam Chair. Last month, Jackson County submitted Ryan DeVille to
Grant a, or for a waiver in regard to some issues that happened up in New Jersey. I have some concerns about what was said up there and what we asked him about the incident, and then some body cam footage of it was discovered. I'd like to invite them back next month if possible to revisit whether that waiver stands or it is revoked.
I'll make a second on that.
You and I were the ones that gave him that.
Yeah, and yeah, matter of fact, now we're looking at some dishonesty in line right here in this room. So from what I saw, yes, motion to make Jackson County Sheriff's Office bring that person back up here.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Anything else?
Commissioner Russell, I just want to say thank you to our folks investigators. They work really hard on these investigations and they give a really thorough description. So thank you.
And amen to the staff over there.
Yeah, our folks work hard. You know, last year, we had a staff meeting the other day, kind of went over some numbers from last year. You know, these folks, there's only 14 of us. 3 of them, those folks are part-time, and they processed over 3,500 pre-employment packets, 100 plus arrest notifications, 100 plus decertification requests, 14 assigned investigations, 57 complaints that came in on top of all the other stuff. 200 people plus came through our transition school. So our folks stay pedal to the metal, and they do the best with what they have. They're very efficient. If we were ever blessed with more people, that'd be amazing. But no, these guys are folks.
You need a motion around like this.
I don't want to get in trouble, you know, but you know, the cats are where I got left in charge today. So, yeah, thanks to our folks that work hard and, you know, do their best to work with these agencies to correct these issues before they reach the commission and solve these problems. So they really care about what they do, and they also care about upholding the standard and making it right. So we appreciate that.
The only other thing I was gonna bring up, didn't we modify April's meeting dates?
Yes, it's
Because
a
of Good
Thursday,
Friday.
because the Friday is good.
We're gonna do both an informal and a regular commission meeting,
I think that's right.
Yep, let me double check.
commission meeting in the morning and then informal in the afternoon.
But they're correct.
Yes, it looks like we are scheduled currently for a formal hearing April 16th at 1 p.m. Informal, post-commission meeting April 17th at 9:30, and the informal to follow directly after the commission meeting. And we'll certainly update you once we have more information from legal as to whether or not where that formal is. We'll send out emails, but if not, we'll see you that Thursday for the post-commission meeting in the morning and the informal following.
Do you have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
No?
Yes.
All in favor? We are adjourned.
My wife.